of the City of Atlantic City. This is the board's annual reorganization meeting. Notice of the meeting has been properly published and posted in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act. Take our initial roll call. Commissioner Devenish? Not present. Commissioner Dorsey?
Here.
Present. Commissioner Gabay?
Here.
Commissioner Hall?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Wills?
Yes.
And Chairwoman Marshall.
Present.
6 members present, that is a quorum to conduct business. Please join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
We're going to suspend the rules to bring forth a resolution.
One of the resolutions from tonight's agenda is being moved up in the agenda and will be dealt with at this time. That is Resolution 9727-12-23.
Resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency of the City of Atlantic City commending Patrice Gaines. Whereas Patrice Gaines of Atlantic City, New Jersey, peacefully went home to be with the Lord on November 12, 2023 at her residence. She was born in Richmond, Virginia, and her family was the first family to move into 528 Westminster Place and moved out in 1975. And whereas Mrs. Gaines worked at Valley's Casino as a cook at the West Side Nursing Home, as a head cook, and a volunteer teacher's assistant at Indiana Avenue and Venice Park Schools. Whereas Mrs. Gaines will be forever loved and greatly missed by all who knew her, especially her family. She was a wonderful, peace-loving mother. She had a very private, protective, and quiet spirit, but she also had a strong will and would let you know her mind clearly. She had much love for her entire family and friends. Now, therefore, be it resolved on this 21st day of December 2023 by the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency of the City of Atlantic City that a certified copy of this resolution executed by the chairwoman be presented to the family of Miss Bernice Gaines to celebrate her life of 103 years. Yes, we'll have a vote, and then I'll ask the family to say a few words.
Thank you. Yes,
On motion.
thank you. Commissioner Gabay has made a motion. Second by Commissioner Dorsey. Commissioner Dorsey.
Yes.
Commissioner Gabay.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Wills.
Yes.
Chairwoman Marshall.
Yes.
Passed, 6 in favor. None opposed.
I just want to say just a few words. Thank you for recognizing my mom and being one of the first families in the Stanley Home Village. One of the first families. So many years ago, where she raised so many of her children. We did well there. We grew well. People loved where we were at. I appreciate that for all her life and her being there at Stanley Home Village. A time when there was flowers and grass and things were beautiful. Remember that. But it took something in you in order to have that. You can't tear up things in order to have something beautiful. So I say to those who are fighting, I read the articles, and it breaks my heart that things are breaking down and pipes are busting. But we still have to come together and do it together. Yes, and we cannot tear things up and expect somebody else to do it. So I pray hard, fervently for Stanley Home Village to remain, but I pray for you with your children, your grandmoms, your moms. My mom was there. We were there. So y'all have to stand up, speak correctly, be about your business.
Yes.
Get off of doing everything that's not right or not wrong. There's a lot of good in the world.
Yes.
I pray for each and every one of you. Take back your homes. Let the government and all that was trying to get you out of there, because there's a deeper story than that. but you have to do the work also, okay? And my mom would be so glad and so excited to see y'all do the work, and Stanley Home remain as it is.
Yes.
My heart's there, my mind is there with y'all. Thank you for celebrating my mom being first.
Thank the board for honoring this game. I moved in 1947, I was 6 months old. And Miss Gaines was along with us, and Sandra and all of her super family. We lived in Westminster Place, 500 block of Westminster Place. And as of now, there's still just two ladies that are left that are the original ones that moved back in 1947 and 1948
Yes.
that are still alive. And that's the older ones that are still here. So I thank you for honoring this game.
Yes.
She was yeah, she was a jewel.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Returning now to the published agenda, we're at item 3, participation of the public.
I am going to call on residents first, so I may skip through. The first person assigned, Sandra
Robinson.
Robinson.
I have 3 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm gonna start off right now with the lawyer that wrote me the other day here telling me my lease was terminated because of 2 cease and desist letters that he couldn't put in the copy. I had to call and find out, was he the lawyer for the city house? And I've never really understood, how can you give me a law and you don't tell me what that law is that I'm not abiding by? And then I went on a little further, because of reading this and telling me I'm terminated. It says, your lease is now terminated and the ACHA hereby demands possession on or before January the 31st, 2024. Now I want to start. First of all, I got in this mess. I got in this mess because a man robbed housing, Shore Park high rise, and there was no money. And when there was no money, in turn, that individual has now become a board, residential board member, and become the chaplain of Shore Park high rise. After 2019, he robbed from us for years. And how I know that is because Judy Gray, the residential director, and Diane James came in there to find papers to prove where the money was. And there was no money in the banks and nothing else. I have a recording that during the second time that we went to take in established officers, he came to attack me because she asked, who is it? I said, Keith Alexander. And he came up with his hand to my face, telling me not to use his name. Now I want to be honest with you. We have bylaws, we have rules, we have things that we have to abide by. Why is it that a person can rob from residents, put the money where he want to put it, and never suffer a penalty, but yet put him back as chaplain? And I want to know the bylaw. What gave him the right that y'all have taken and allowed from housing to make this man the chaplain of Shore Park high rise? Then we go on and talk, and I got back, when I finished going through there, I got a letter from Diane James saying that the person that I have had legally as my care provider. Now I want you to understand this. I didn't come up here to play. I came up here to ask rules, policies. And if the building has already been told to us by Yvette that it's fallen down, why am I a victim? Because I asked different things and it's still needing fix. In turn, we had a transfer of now having a meeting. She told us all about the conditions of the building. She called that the building, now that year, we went through electrical problems. that the building could have caught on fire. Sewage problems that the building could have caught on fire. So we had all kind of events, and never was there ever been we had scalpel. Then I found out Tony Langford, who's going to see his mother, a brick falls from the building. And yet never was told to us, neither have we had a meeting. And now we have Evie Reeves as our manager that was brought from Busby. And according to what I hear, allegedly, she was put down there because her house was raided for drugs. So when it comes down to reality, why give us a problem we already got? We already got a fallen building, a sewage problem, electricity problem, a pipeline falling down out of the water, all down there. Now you're going to have us have an election? And the person that you want as a part of the candidates is a doggone rob and thief of a doggone Shore Park residential services? I don't get that. So I in turn became now, I'm going to get you.
All right.
So Ivy right now, at this particular, Judy Gray right now, sent the letter when I've been legally by doctor notices to take and have my son. I have an aneurysm in my head that was done by the elevator at Shore Park High Rise. The same day we had the meeting about there ain't no money. Where's the money?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to, Ms. Robinson, you said you received, assist.
I got a letter of termination. His name is, hold on just a minute.
From your lease?
No, ain't no, oh, that's the section, I gotta come back on the 20th of January, whatever. So I'm gonna talk about my lease that had a hard time for me to get the PHA forms that I signed. Then they made that a cease and desist. Because I asked for it 4 times and I was
Was
given
it
the
a
same
termination
junk.
from the Residents Association?
No, from my premises where I live, reside at. All because of 2 cease and desist that Evie put down and don't even put the enclosures but put in here. CC copy with enclosures. I want to know where the closures. I like to have.
I'm sorry. Can we see the documents?
Oh, you know how I am. I always give everybody, but they stopped at our building because we ain't had no
We're trying to
money.
understand your issue. You got eviction notice?
Oh, I got the letter from the lawyer.
What about the letter? Is it?
That's it. Telling you that I just quoted it.
No,
It says,
Ms.
I'll
Robinson,
give it to you.
Ms.
I'll
Robinson,
give you the letter.
you see you got a letter saying that you being evicted from your apartment?
That's right, from a lawyer.
Okay,
You know the name of the attorney?
It's in the front. Here it is. Here it is.
You just dropped it.
I'm just gonna. This is the last letter you received. I'm already terminated. And yet I have no proof to show where and what I've done. And I don't know what kind of lawyer he is, but he ain't good because I got a good one. So please take that down. This is the proof showing that the doctor gave me legal to have my son as my certified of the 8. And it's a package deal that I had to get from Judy Gray's office.
the office there.
I ain't even talking about the doggone how somebody got drunk one day and I only had to pay $27. They ain't want the money right away.
You want to pay the office?
Oh, I'm not finished. They had me credit. That's
right, Ms. Robinson,
Ms. Robinson.
Ms. Robinson, the lawyer's gonna look into, our counsel's gonna look
Yes,
into it.
the notice came from a different lawyer, but I'll look into that.
It's the house. He'll get back to you, make a copy of the stuff you give him, and he'll reach out to you, just give her your phone number.
Give Ms. Shampley your phone.
Gonna make a copy.
And I am an active individual.
Okay.
I don't stop until I get win.
Beth, do you have a piece of paper right there?
And we ain't even discussed the building, and the building is falling down. According to one now, come back, the other thing,
No, yeah, she just get the phone number and make a copy of the letter, so, yeah, make a copy.
Shanita Moore.
Shanita Moore?
Sanita.
Sanita, sorry. Sanita Moore, sorry.
You're a resident of Stanley Homes.
Yes, my name is Sanaya Moore, and I currently reside at 1603 City Place.
What's your address?
1603 City Place. So what brings me here today is I've been battling trying to get a reimbursement. The reimbursement comes from during the time where I didn't have a stove from 825 to 915. I was told through the office that as long as I kept my receipts that I could get reimbursed. Now mind you, I'm too well raised to refuse, so I was the only one going through this at that time. It was me and quite a few other tenants. There was a food truck that pulled up, and I stood out in line with the food truck. I fed my kids their food, they got sick. Okay, mind you, this was 8:25 that it started, so you're coming into school time. So everything that I saved up was for my daughter's uniform. So I was put in a situation where we were either going to eat or my baby was going to get new clothes. Okay, so it's so much, y'all. I started off corresponding with the ladies in the office. They could tell me what's so much. Then I was corresponding directly with Ms. Brock. You know, I handed in, like I said, I handed in my receipts. She in fact told me that she then handed my receipts over to Thomas here. Still to no avail. Ms. Brock more or less threw up her hands and said, look, here's his email address, email him. So on 10/10, I emailed Thomas and I, gave him pictures of things that I've gone through in that apartment. It was at one time from May 5th to May 25th. I was told by several employees that my living situation wasn't fit for a dog. I had no kitchen, I had no stove, there was a tarp over my door to my kitchen. I was told we couldn't get placed because the hotel that they was at that time in May that they were using was infested with bed bugs. I had to send my 11-year-old to Millville. I had to take her out of school, so I had the housing authorities write a letter to my daughter's school, New York Avenue, to let them know, like, listen, they're living in deplorable conditions, the 11-year-old can't stay there. Myself and my 18-year-old, we stuck it out. At that time, we were given an allowance from May 5th to the 25th by Judy Gray. I had to meet it here, meet it there. She gave us $60 a night to eat. Got through that. So May, June, July. My situation was no different from nobody else. We have water, you don't have water. We have gas, you don't have gas. I complained very little, if at all. And when I did, it was with style, grace, respect, and humility. I'm not the type to walk up in the office, you did. I don't know what you got going on in your home when you clock out from 9 to 5. So I don't know. I don't handle my business like that. It was with grace and humility and respect. Still to no avail. Come August, I'm going through this situation. Okay, I submitted everything. Like I said, October the 10th, I emailed Thomas. I sent you pictures. I sent you a video of worms. I can show you video right now, better than I can tell you. There's worms that comes out of the crevices of my bathroom. My grandson almost broke his neck jumping out the daggone tub. Like me, Mom, look, I go in there. There's little worms I can show you. I mentioned that to the office. I sent it to Tom to know if everybody clutches their pearls. Still nothing happened. Okay, fast forward to Friday. Okay, fast forward to this past Friday. I talked to Deidre. Senada, we have a check for you. Well, there's new laws. They was cutting checks the wrong way, they had to go under all types of scrutiny, now they want to do things the right way. There's a board meeting on Thursday, the check will be approved, Friday it'll be cut. I was given a check yesterday. My receipts for only 11 days were the ones that I, could get. They added up to $418.13. Now that's only half. I went through this for about 21 days. This is the only thing that I can prove that I, spent out of pocket. I get a check yesterday for $248 and some change. I'm trying to figure out where did you get this number, sir? I was told about per diem. So now there's something new going on to where as though they gave you $69 to $79 a day. Deirdre and I decided for about 21 days, is that fair? Absolutely. I was told that, I don't qualify for the per diem because I didn't stay in a hotel room. What difference does it make when I still had to spend my hard-earned cash? I get disability, I don't get food stamps, I still had to come out of pocket for food. I'm not asking you for nothing more, nothing less besides what I had to put out with my receipts proof. DoorDash, Papa Pizza. We can't eat for so much lose. I just sent diabetes back to the pits of hell. I'm not trying to go there no more, eat, off the microwave. I couldn't do that. I proved to you what I had, and I get a check for $248. I'm trying to figure out where did you get this number from? Why I don't qualify for the per diem, and why wasn't I just given the $418.13 that I used to feed my children at that time?
Ma'am, I thank you for everything you said.
We're gonna
look at it.
see what answers we have right now.
Please do, because I've been going through this for 4 months, y'all. It
You
hasn't
understand that? We also have 50 people here that want to speak, so.
Let me finish.
Let we let you speak and say everything. We'll have to figure these out, and then we'll get back to you. So you have a seat, and everybody can remember. We want everybody to speak, so if you can just get to the point. We understand it's a story, but we need to.
So my point is, I'm going to rest my point.
We understand the point. You didn't get the money you're supposed to, we'll look into it. Hopefully today, we'll have an answer.
Excuse me, 1 second. You said it was $418.13?
Yes.
And you give them all their receipt, right?
Absolutely. So I have a copy, Deirdre has a copy, I don't know who else has a
All right, no
copy.
problem.
Just one quick thing, Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Does Deirdre have your cell phone number or
Deirdre
their means
has
of
my number,
contact?
she can call me anytime.
Just can you give your number to Beth too? Just-
Beth has it, I was
Well,
talking
yeah,
to
she
you.
can
I'll get your number from Deirdre and I'll reach out to you. What I can say, I don't recall getting an email from you and I just ran.
It was October 10th, I have it, I can read it to you. I can show you the pictures of everything that I did. Listen, right?
Are you gonna have the meetings over?
Can you
I'm
just
sorry.
wait after the meeting, he will talk to you
Yeah.
and make sure, and we'll take care of it.
Okay.
I just ran a search, I don't have an email.
I complained about the worms, the larvae coming out of my tub. Okay, I had to take something called hard as nails in my little finger and do it myself, and then my own E6000 and do it myself. 3 different occasions, and everybody just clutched their pearls. It's not normal for a child to jump out of the tub because there's worms coming out of the bathroom.
What,
I can show you this.
what talk to
I
you?
can show you.
You reported that to Mrs. Brown?
Let me tell you something. Miss Broad, he has video, I showed you. I even showed the foreman that was fixing the stove and stuff during the time I was going through it. He had nothing to do with it, but I showed him too.
We'll reach out to you. We'll definitely reach out to you.
Spell your first name, please.
S-A, and is in Nancy, E-A, D is in David, A, my last name is Moore.
So if you could actually show me what you sent me on your phone, because I just, I mean, after
I'm
the
gonna start next
meeting,
to
so
it, I
we
got
can
you,
see.
baby, hold on.
You say you forwarded it to Ms. Brock too, right?
No, not the email. I actually got his email from Mr. Rock because it's like it's in his hands now. He's going to sign and stuff and all that. So it was out of my hands at that point.
Did I type in this? Because like I, so, yeah, when I search for,
Okay, let me show you.
beyond that, we'll double check. We'll check that was issued. There's a. That check was 5 feet off.
Yeah, I was told it was 2, that they were 2 checks. One for 2 something, another one was for something, and it was, she said it behooved her spirit as to why I was getting the check for 2 something.
We have all the.
She's already promoted, okay.
Your cease and desist letter, was it because you had a caregiver in your unit and it wasn't on a lease?
I just gave him a copy of from a
Right.
legal doctor from Atlantic Care.
Right.
And it's been 4 years. Why am I giving it after I asked for it?
I remember you came in front of the board
Certain
before.
Huh?
I remember you came in front of the board before, it wasn't resolved.
Yeah, it was resolved, but you got a lease. Effective, you need to change laws, managers. Allegedly, she was put in our building and was accused of being a drug pusher.
Now, that's not the aggregation.
Well, hold on.
No, back to
I said allegedly.
We'll take care of it. She just want to ask you one question.
We're just trying to be clear.
Just want to keep it on line. We'll take care of it.
Everything is legal. The executive director before this new one, Dorsey, my lawyer gave her a copy of the legal stuff. Now y'all need to find it.
Ms. Robinson, we'll discuss it at the next meeting, but we are gathering the information. And from what we understand, it's your son and he's living there.
Right.
Right, so he has to be on a lease. We asked you for the information and you did not provide the information.
Because I'm already giving the information to the executive director before the one that was McDonald's. I had already took care of that.
Okay, you
Before
may have to do that again, and that's why you received the letter.
And as you see the doctor's note, this is 2019 that I've had him as legal, and he's on how many people.
Was this for recertification to give the information again to the office?
Where is the documents that I already gave?
Okay, we'll address it at next month's meeting.
I'll be there.
All right. Sakina Thomas, and
Sakina, she's not here, she
she's
left.
not here? Okay, Henry Green, you a resident?
Yes. Not Sandy Homes?
Oh, Housing Authority?
No.
Okay, I want to get through the residents first.
Well, I am a resident. I represent my mother who's on Section 8, who's been living in
Your
Los
mom,
Angeles
I
for 5 months.
Mr. Green, I want everyone to speak, I just want to get through the residents first who want to speak.
I am a
But
resident.
No, you're not a resident of the housing authority. Your mom's a resident, but everyone is going to be allowed
I'm a
to speak.
caregiver. I speak for her.
Mr. Green, can I please get through the residents? Okay. Mahogany Daniels, I don't understand the writing. Are you a resident?
I am a resident. They just said I'm a resident and also I'm just trying to, I'm coming to speak for a resident. I am a recipient of Atlantic House Authority.
You're
Yes, I
a
am.
Section 8 resident?
Yes, I am.
Okay, ma'am, you could come up. Mahogany Daniels.
I am here because I have been going through with the Housing Authority Section 8 program regarding my housing choice voucher. Tom is very aware of my situation. We have been corresponding ever since May. My voucher was illegally terminated for no reason at all. Long story short, it came November. So my landlord didn't get paid for about 7 to 8 months. I was given the eviction paperwork, sent eviction paperwork. Last month, my voucher was reinstated. They could not find any reason why. During the investigation, supposedly it was an overpayment of a utility reimbursement when I was out of work during the pandemic. And they continued to pay when I shouldn't receive payments because I went back to work. And instead of them trying to, and I sent them a letter to have a fair hearing, instead of having a fair hearing to discuss, what is it called? Agreement, a payment arrangement, they just automatically, kept ignoring me, kept ignoring the fact that I wanted a fair hearing and decided that they would terminate my voucher. Last month, my voucher got reinstated. From me constantly contacting Tom, along with, I had been corresponding constantly with Beth Ann. I could never get in contact with anyone from the Lansing Housing Authority. Finally, they decided to reinstate my voucher. My problem is with this program is they reinstated my voucher, right? I was given a request for rent change for my landlord. My rent is drastically low, lower than the fair market rent for a 3-bedroom single family home. So when I went November the 21st to get my voucher reinstated, after 8 months of not having a voucher, they reinstated my voucher for the rental amount that was for 2021. I asked for a rent increase. My landlord wants a rent change, a rent increase. The rent increase, the fair market rent has been increased to almost 2 times of what my rent is. This is the original rent increase left. The new director that came in, Malcolm, changed the rent increase, and I don't know when, because I called my Mrs. Callahan today to turn in my rent change, and she said, oh, there's a new form. That one is null and void. You can't use that one. This rent increase was less than 30 days that I received it.
So your question is, Ms. Daniels?
So my question is, if this paperwork was already out, and and we were already in the process of doing a rent increase, how is it that it's null and void when I had to submit this paperwork, and this is the paperwork that was given to me at the time?
Okay.
So this new contract for a rent increase, new paperwork for a rent increase, this must be submitted 120 days, which is 4 months? 6? Okay, 6 months before your contract. 4. You smart. 4 months before your contract. So I don't understand how I have to adhere to this when my paperwork was submitted, my contract was reinstated. This paperwork was not was not processed at the time. So my problem is already been facing eviction. They paid all the money back to the landlord because they were at fault. They were negligent. They paid the landlord, I believe, $13,000. So, moving forward.
What questions we have, what answers we have for you right now, okay?
All right, well, Ms. Daniels, you and I are very familiar with one another, we've met several times. Just for clarity, because not everybody is familiar from the board with Ms. Daniels, yes, her voucher was terminated a little over a year ago, I believe it was.
In April of 2023.
I thought it was a little bit before that, but I could be off. But after meeting with you several times and reviewing your file, it was reinstated. I had not personally been made aware about the rental increase. You're saying the wrong form was used by your previous case manager?
No. This was the form that they had when I went in November. When I called to yesterday, they said I need to bring you the increase, the form, the rent increase form paperwork. She says, oh, no, you can't use that. It's been changed.
So you went November this month of this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Last month.
Okay.
So today, when I called her and said I had some questions, and I was, one of the questions about submitting the rent increase, she said, oh, you can't use that. Oh, it's a whole new form, it's a whole new format. The director changed this, that, and another. So the problem is, 3-bedroom units are going for about $2,200 to $2,500. My unit is $1,350. My landlord, again, here I was already facing eviction because of the negligence of the agency. So, if I'm not allowed a rent increase, if my landlord's not allowed a rent increase, he's going to file for it. He's going to put me out. He does not want me to stay in his unit, and he's not getting paid the comparable amount as a fair market rent.
We understand that. We have a board, as a board, have applied to the federal government for rent increases 3 times, because apparently things were very behind. And I believe the max number that we were allowed last year, the federal government just changed their guidelines and went down a little bit. They set the value, and we have gone to the max that the federal government will allow us. So I don't know what's in the paperwork, and
So that's not what I'm talking about.
We just updated our payment standards recently via resolution, so we can go up to 110% of the FMR as a payment standard with a half contract for a landlord. But for rental increases, there's a few other steps involved. Sounds like I need to review this with Malcolm and just to wrap my head around it as well. I'm not micromanaging the Section 8 program, but again, if there's an issue, we're going to rectify it, just like we've met in the past and we've rectified previous issues. So I'm just trying to understand exactly what the issue is. You have my cell phone number, you have my email address. If there's any other information you can provide me prior to me talking with our new Section 8 director, I would appreciate it. This way we can at least have an educated discussion. And
Well,
figure it out.
that's what I'm saying. What I'm stating right now is a problem. If y'all are paying $2,000, $2,200, $1,900 for a 3-bedroom, and my unit is only $1,350, and because of what he changed as far as requesting for a rent increase, there's no way that my landlord will be eligible for an increase because he changed it within the 30 days of me going to do my reinstate my contract.
So it's a 3-bedroom unit, 3-bedroom voucher.
It's
correct?
3 bedrooms, 1 and a half bath.
On the voucher is also a 3-bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so we're gonna review it further. We'll be in contact with you, just to see exactly, because I need to understand from the Section 8 department's perspective, what they're seeing as well.
I want to say this, you say you got 120 days?
120 days in advance of your contract. So my contract was signed.
I understand that part, but this is what I want to say, it would be Section 8, is that if they take up the time, because they did it to me, I had a Section 8 when I moved here, and by them messing around with it, bedroom size and all that, my 120 days ran out. They took my voucher, then I was left without a voucher and nowhere to live. That's what I don't want to happen. I don't want that to happen to people that is on Section 8 voucher. Because it's hard to find places nowadays, and it's hard to find a 3-bedroom in a reasonable amount of a price because they are high now. And y'all give them $1,300, you got $1,300. If the apartment, the landlord wants $2,000, then she had to go look for something else. Her time is going to run out. and then she won't be without any voucher and nowhere to live, and then can't apply for Section 8 again. So with those vouchers, it's very, either we need to change the 120 days, because that thing almost take almost a year sometimes to try to really get to find something. So that's what I'm saying, the time limit on these vouchers, because they took mine. That's how I wound up in regular housing.
Again, we need,
And the other thing is, when it comes to, the housing choice voucher, we don't have an opportunity to transition.
We have other people that want to speak, we want to handle, we want to get back to
But I
you.
mean.
No, we want to try to schedule.
I don't know if these questions are now answered.
No, you're right. We want to schedule, can we schedule a meeting with her? I think y'all need to schedule a meeting
Yeah,
with
Tom
her.
was going to, he already
Okay,
said
so
that.
can you give him a call tomorrow and then let's try to schedule a meeting after the house?
That's what I'm figuring out. What is she supposed to mean? She's not moving.
She's not moving. So let's try to,
Eventually, I would, if they're not gonna give me the increase, no, my landlord was telling me I had to move.
so let's try to schedule a
Landlord
meeting.
can't put you out.
Let's try to schedule a meeting. Let's try to schedule a meeting after the Christmas break. Tom.
Tom's going to take care of it. Tom will be in
Yeah, let's try to
contact.
schedule something after the Christmas break.
Okay.
They'll be in contact. Let's try to schedule something after the Christmas break. All right? No. You said talk about your number, right?
I will call, that's not, I will definitely.
All right,
be contacting
Andy
you.
Torres?
That's not a problem. That's one of the results of it.
Ms. Torres, Altman?
Yes, from Open Terrace.
Yes.
I'm the tenant organization president, some on behalf here of my tenant. The first issue they have with you guys, we keep trying to find out what's going on with their rent credit, including money, because we went an entire month that you guys are aware with no hot water at all. And that was an entire month. And then one of those weekends,
Ms. Torres, I want to say that hasn't come to the board.
I'm bringing it up now.
Right, okay, you may be, but I just want to be clear, that has not been a resolution or, that has come in front of the board. I'm just saying, you're bringing it up, but I just want to be clear on the facts. We're trying to get correct information out there. That's why we're taking the time and going over the 3 minutes so we can clear some things up. And if we do not clear it up at this meeting, it will be on the record for the January meeting. So I just want to be clear with what you said, okay?
But I have been calling and I think that has taken a few of my messages and things like that. I've spoken to D, Ms. D. They are aware, whether they forward to you guys or not, that's not our concern.
We understand
I
the
know.
issues with, you said key, but the rent abatement has not been a resolution that has
Okay.
come.
So we're looking at maybe January. I have to go back to answer to my tenants, because that's what I'm here for. So I want any information I can get from you guys. Now you're telling me January, that's when I will go tell. But I don't want us thrown to the wolves, because we pray every day, or at least I do, for staying home. I know what they're going through. Okay, even over that month, one of the weekends, we had no heat the entire weekend. Okay, and no hot water. We also need to see if you guys will address our public bathroom on the first floor, which is for when we're using the community room or our security staff, which includes myself, and there's one that's here also. We can't use the ladies' room. Why? Because you go in there, there's all the panels on top are taken off and a big hole on the wall, and it's been like that for the longest. Apparently there was a leak, but it's still like that. It needs to get addressed, because when I have my tenants come down for whatever, they could be coming down to have a social day, game day, whatever. My tenants, especially the older ones, have to be running upstairs to go to the bathroom and running back down. Or if not, they get stuck going into the men's room. I'm not criticizing men, but they don't know how to eat. Okay? For a woman that has to go use that bathroom. I know I got my grandsons and my sons, okay? But that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. Okay?
We have a record, we need to justify why we need to fix it. The maintenance director's here, not in his head, he'll take care of that.
Which one? You, and just one other quick thing, our security booth, okay? Jeremy is working hard to help, but our security booth, we're either suffocating in there because it's summertime, or in the winter, we're freezing. Because the roof has to be done, and we have little heaters by us, it has to be taken care of, and the cameras have to be adjusted. Okay?
All right.
I'll leave you guys there, because you said you're gonna give me till January. January, I will be back,
Yeah.
and then we'll take care of it.
Ma'am, I can actually address, I don't make a habit of frequenting the ladies' room, so I was not made aware of the ceiling tiles.
Call me, I'll let you in.
I'll pass and I'll go in the ladies' restroom.
Okay.
But, this is the first time hearing about the ceiling tiles. Mr. Davis, our maintenance director, is
I'll
here.
talk to him.
We're gonna address that. With regard to the abatement of rent, Ms. Brock and I have been working, we're researching right now to see if there's any limitations on what can be done. Once we do that, we have the numbers, we will present that to the executive committee of the board, and then it will actually go before the board for a formal vote. Because as Hud pointed out when they were here, that can't happen until the board votes on it. So, I am working with Ms. Brock on that.
Okay, fair enough. And will we get to see this whole HUD report eventually?
Yes, it's a public, it will be
Probably
a
in the
public document.
Public document that was on the website.
Okay,
Yes, it's being voted on tonight, it will be put on the website.
you got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last thing she said was, it's not the first time she's reviewed this.
Teresa McNair, you didn't write anything here. Okay. Stanley? Okay.
Question. This is the holiday. I'm in a hotel. Check out time tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I talked to Miss Judy. She told me that the hotel has not been paid. It's some kind of technical whatever she said. I can show you the text where she texted me. Y'all get ready to go home for the holidays. I'm in a hotel, so I need to know where I'm staying Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday till y'all get back. And I called 9 o'clock this morning and still not got an email or a phone call.
Where hotel are you staying at?
I'm at the Marriott.
Yeah, so we actually processed several invoices from Courtyard. They are in the process of getting paid. There were checks that were cut earlier in the week to pay them. But you're not gonna be left out with nowhere to go.
But you saying that. But y'all get ready to leave. I've been calling y'all since 9 o'clock this morning. I ain't getting no phone call back. You think I'm gonna trust what you saying now?
Miss McNair,
And wait a minute, I'm not finished.
No, I'm
I'm not finished. I got 3 minutes. Let me finish.
I'm gonna allow you to go.
Y'all
over
gonna
this
trust,
in a
I'm
minute.
gonna trust y'all to stay in this hotel and then y'all leave for the weekend and I don't know.
No one, all I was saying, no one is leaving for the weekend. We will be here, we will be working.
Y'all
Okay?
what?
And
They said
the
it's not
check
paid,
was,
right?
the check
The
was
check got
sent
lost?
for your hotel. We have paid.
Ma'am, I talked to the front desk.
It
He
doesn't
said,
get paid every day. Checks do not, the
no,
room does not
see,
get
you're
paid
not
every
listening.
day.
You're not listening. Checkout time is tomorrow. So what do I do tomorrow?
Your hotel stay is going to be extended for as long as it needs to.
That's not what she said on the phone. Should I show you the text?
But now that's what he said.
Should I show you the text? Because that's not what she just said.
Speak it to the director, man, so that's the answer.
So do they pay, they don't pay on that?
And then you're not even smart. They're not even talking.
How you got paid?
Sit in your mouth.
They receive the check.
No,
On
him.
a weekly basis.
You got me
You know,
switching.
it's an agreement, it's an understanding,
Okay, wait,
so
wait a
it's not that the hotel.
You had a problem on your last night.
Miss McNair.
And Nixie Williams.
Miss McNair.
Y'all want me to?
Miss McNair.
Yes.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Miss McNair.
Yes.
All right, so
Anybody else?
Tom want to make sure that before he leaves tonight, to call the hotel to make sure that they extended this off until next week. So he want to make sure and check with the hotel.
Okay, can I ask another question? When they going to my house?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Miss McNair.
You can answer that.
So maintenance personnel have been in your house several times. They found
Yeah,
no
I'm talking about she emailed me and said they paid for a specialist to come. That was 4 weeks ago. I'm not understanding why he ain't in there.
So maintenance has been in your unit several times.
Maintenance is not licensed. Y'all even said that they're not licensed. Don't
We
say
got,
nothing
we
else.
just trying to be clear,
I'm talking to
because
him.
at last night's
I'm
council
talking to
meeting,
him. them.
You said we
Like
had you
they
in a
said,
slump.
it was 4 weeks
And
ago.
you also said it
You
was
said
no
that the maintenance man, I mean, the special
unit
was coming.
several times.
That was 4 weeks ago.
And they ain't been in any.
I don't believe that was 4 weeks ago because I do have.
I've been in the hotel 4 weeks.
No, you said that you were told that special.
Want me to show you the text?
I have the text right.
You said it.
Right.
You said I just approved the
Requisition.
right. That was okay. Well, 3 weeks ago. We gonna say 3 weeks because I've been in there a week. You came, called, sent, text me on 3 weeks ago.
Since then, maintenance has been.
Okay, am I going to have somewhere to stay for Christmas?
Yes, that's what I say to you.
Y'all gonna bring me some Christmas dinner from y'all table? That's what I want to know.
So just so I can make sure I give you an answer. Maintenance has been in your unit. The health department has been in your unit. I talked to
When the hell is wrong with my house?
Friday.
last Friday.
I got cameras. No, they didn't.
I spoke to
I
Director
got
Barnes.
cameras.
I spoke to Director Barnes
Yes.
right after they were in your unit, and they said themselves they found no evidence of mold. We've spoken to numerous other residents that live in
Hold
your
up, let me
same
get off
building.
this for a minute. Let me show you these pictures. You gonna tell me ain't no mold in my house? You lost your mind.
What we're doing
Hold up.
is having an environmental consultant take air samples for your peace of mind to confirm that there is no mold in your unit.
Chair, I mean,
What's that?
I'm gonna call.
What's that? Wait a minute. Look at all that mold coming from around the tub. Hold up. Let's show you under the sink. Wait a minute. I'm about to show you. What is that? Yeah, you can't even identify it. What is that?
It looks like she.
What is that? That's just mold dripping. Look at this. That's not mold.
I'm not seeing. I've seen mold. I'm not seeing mold.
You don't see no black mold?
And the city has been to the unit, and the city also said it was not moved.
Then what's the smell?
But I'm also
What's
not
the
an expert.
smell?
I'm also not an
What's the
expert.
smell? Did they tell you about the smell? Steve Young, what is the smell? Steve, what's the smell?
I don't think he's an
That maintenance man, what's the smell? Yeah, I want to talk to you.
Oh my God. We literally expressed it multiple times.
What's the smell?
You have,
What's the smell?
you have 200, we talked about this, when you have 220 degrees of hot water and it bursts in your basement, the smell from the sediment from the basement comes up
I'm on the second
through the gap of the
Nixie
piping.
don't smell like they do it. Nixie don't smell like they do it. Man, I ain't talking to you, I'm talking to him.
All right.
You can go on to the next
That's
person.
majority of the units in that row were smelling like that when we came through.
Then why the hell y'all got me in a hotel if it ain't mold and smell like it? Why the hell am I in the hotel? Why I can't go home? Why I can't go home? You already said the smell.
Can we read? Yes.
It is mold.
Oh, wait,
Let me see. No, I'm confused.
Good afternoon, board. I'm speaking on behalf of my mother and the president, and I thoroughly don't understand the vindictiveness of the boards and the management and all of these different processes. It's all about accountability. Folks don't want to be accountable for doing their job and what they're supposed to be doing at the end of the day. And we continually put people in places that look to escape doing work and their responsibility, and they somehow keep regurgitating the same individuals all over and over again to the same boards, which we see nothing coming out of them, and there seems to be no help for the actual people. And most of y'all come from these same places, and I don't understand when you come from the same places we come from, and you know how these things are, and that you're so vindictive and want to fight against these people instead of just helping them and doing what needs to be done to solve their problems. What's so hard about
Where's the fight?
What's the problem?
Where's the fight?
What's the problem with
Let's
solving?
put the truth out here. Where's the fight? No one's fighting.
You right. You
No
not fighting
one's
for us.
fighting. We're not fighting.
There is a big. I seen someone put a post yesterday online about the meeting that they were having just for Stanley Holmes Village that was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they
That was
said
a HUD meeting.
a HUD meeting. And so they said, this is what the person said.
A week ago.
And these are the same people. The people said, oh, don't say we didn't tell y'all. This is what the person who posted, don't say we didn't tell y'all that, you know what I mean? Saying this to the residents the victims of this as if, you know, they had a problem with the residents for speaking out for these issues that they have at the end of the day. Why can't we say what we feel? We're like, oh, these are issues and problems. And if we went through the proper procedures every time, if we called the manager or the person we're supposed to call, and they never call you back, they never send you anything, they never give you updates. The unprofessionalism is unreal that we have individual at every level in the city. Every level is a bunch of ignorance that they're passing down to the residents. Instead of being professional and doing their job and trying to help people, they get mad and get vindictive and start doing things to mess your life up. They gonna mess your life up just because you called and said I had a leak. I got to call 10 times, and so you mad at me now because I called 10 times about a leak that no one came and resolved and handled the problem.
Mr. Green, if you have any examples of that, please bring that to the board. That is not okay. That is not okay, and we will not accept that. We will not allow and accept tenants getting targeted by residents. That is not okay. And you know and you understand how boards work. We can't micromanage, we cannot speak to employees. We have one employee, and that's the executive director. We cannot speak to any of the directors. We cannot go and speak to the property managers. HUD teaches classes on that. We have one employee, and that is the executive director. So if you ever hear, and we have to ask the executive director if we can even speak to the directors of the housing authority.
So how do we hold? It's about accountability.
Right, and we need an executive director that we can trust, that will give us the information. It's not okay. You and I, we went to high school together. You know me very well, and you know my heart. Don't think because I'm sitting in this seat, my heart has changed. I'm really passionate. I hang out in Stanley Home Village. I have family over there. My brother just moved from over there. We need an executive director that we trust, that will give us the information. We need the residents to continue to come out and give us this information, and we will address it. And you know what also I'm going to start doing, and I started doing it tonight, the back and forth dialogue to get the information. And if we do not have answers for any residents tonight at this meeting, we will have the answers at the January meeting. We can all be partners here at this table. We don't have to yell and go back and forth with one another. When I saw some of the conditions last year, I was appalled. I was hurt. I did cry. I was not aware. But having an executive director that we all trust, that's what housing authorities need. It's not a whole HUD takeover and do this and folks are not being held accountable. We've been on this board for a while. Ms. Libby decided to volunteer her time again and be on this board. She will also tell you, there was a lot of information that we did not receive, but we're receiving it now. We are bringing on contractors and we're doing the best we can do. But please, you know me and you know my heart, and I am the same person that I was since high school. My heart and my passion is here, and it is serious.
As the chairwoman already stated, the board does not get involved in personnel matters. On the other hand, I do. So if you give me your contact information, I would love to follow up with you, because if we do have personnel that are targeting or going after residents, that's unacceptable. I'm not going to stand for that, and we will take action. But if we don't know about it,
We don't know that.
Well, and the commissioner say on breaking news, talking crack.
And I thank you for that, because that's what we need. We need just people in house, and some of the people, if they're not qualified or if they're not doing it, we need to replace those people and have better people that's willing to serve our community and serve the people. And understand that people are replaced when they're in certain situations, and we need to be accountable for doing our part too. I'm not saying that. I totally agree with that. We have to show up to the meetings. We have to be able to do those particular things. We just shouldn't be fighting with each other. We shouldn't try to solve these problems. So,
Thank you, I agree. Thank
if
you.
you're going to be around, I would love to get your contact info so I can actually look into what you just mentioned.
no problem.
That's great. Did you address your mother's situation?
No, I didn't.
If there's something that we need to...
Please
I'll just talk to
come back next month.
It's no problem. I'll come back next month.
Yes,
Hopefully
and
everything
continue to
works
be an
out.
advocate in the community. We appreciate it. The next name, I can't understand. It just says self for organization.
That's me.
Okay, I can't make out your name.
Marina Costa.
Can you spell it for me, please?
TRAMAINE.
T-A-R.
TRA.
TRA.
COSTO.
Tremaine.
Tremaine with a T and a constant.
Spell your last name, please.
Costin, COSTON.
Okay. Did you want to speak, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Gotta go to the board?
Yes, you can.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm recently a new recipient of the Section 8 program. I'm from Buckeye Village.
Can't hear you.
I am a new recipient of the Section 8 program. I'm from Buckeye Village. I recently moved to Drexel Avenue, 526 Drexel Avenue. It's a sewage problem. When I first moved there, like 2 months in, the sewage backed up, came up the front of the house and came up in the back of the house. The rent is probably like $2,000, $2,200, something like that. So, in the advertisement, it shows you have a backyard, you know, it's a nice place to go live into. I move in, now I have feces in the backyard and feces in the front yard, in front of the house, so I can't use the backyard because, you know, there's feces under the grass. The house is 100 years old. I called the health department, I called code enforcement, they all came out. The landlord, they saying they didn't know, but I'm saying, like, if you buy a property, you have to get like a blueprint of the house and how it was built like 100 years ago. The sewage system has to be like super old, and when we go to use like the bathroom and in the back where the washer and dryer is at, it smells like feces. So when we turn the water on, we smell feces when we're brushing our teeth. My 12-year-old smells feces when he's brushing his teeth. So currently I'm trying to move out. So I already let the landlord know, I let everybody know, I don't care if nobody else don't care, but I do care because the odor of feces causes illnesses. I have seizures. My baby has a stomach disorder. So with that being said, I'm in the midst of like looking for a place to move into, but I'm trying to figure out like, because I was not informed of the feces problem, I gave like $5,000 up to move in. I don't have money to keep moving in and out of places. I want my money back from the landlord. Nobody told me. They saying that it was inspected. It passed inspection. Like how? Mice all ate up my food inside the pantry. It's like loaded with mice food. I don't even go in there. Like I don't use it because it's loaded with mice food. It has holes where the washer and dryer is at. Mice can easily, like mice drop is all in there. I told them they live in Staten Island, New York. So I have to wait for them to come down to fix this up. Nobody got time for that. It's cold. The window in the living room is broke. Like the top of the window, the part of the window that goes up is down. It can't go up because it slams down. So the window that's supposed to be down, I pushed it up, but it won't go up all the way. So it's like cold air coming in. There's cold air coming in the back of the house where the backyard is at. And the front is all cold. Like the whole downstairs is freezing. So I put the oven on, which is unhealthy as well, because then you get carbon monoxide poisoning. So we don't want to die while we sleep. So something needs to be done. I don't know who's passing these homes to be able to move in through the inspection through Section 8, because nobody should have moved in that house for the simple fact that the feces, it smells like feces. So, somebody needs to do something.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
How long you gonna stay in there?
I just moved there, this is my 6th month.
6 months?
Could you give your information, anything you want to add?
I just wanted to ask, have you been in contact with our Section 8 department about these issues?
Of course I have.
Do you recall who? Just so I can follow up.
At first, it was Denise Goya, she was there. She left.
Okay.
I think y'all have they have a new inspection person, I can't remember her name.
Stephanie.
She did come out, but she was there like briefly. She wasn't able to go upstairs and do like an entire investigation to smell the feces because it smells like poop. And that as far as I got. But I'm still moving out regardless of where anybody, I'm still moving out because it's just unhealthy.
I'm curious, what did the health department say?
They can't do anything about it. Like nobody came to actually look under the grass in the back to see the poop under the grass because they put like a artificial covering over where the piping comes out of the ground, so you can't see it, but you can smell it. You can smell the poop. And then I had like maggots and flies all in the window. Like it's nobody should be doing it.
We're going to follow up with you on this. Just want to make sure, do we have updated contact info for you?
Okay.
Can you give Beth all your information?
Give it to Beth Ann. Again, our new Section 8 director is here. We are going to follow up on this matter for you.
You want to discuss it?
How long ago was the backup?
When I moved in, I moved in June, July, August, about August, because they said the people that lived in the neighborhood before I moved there, they said it happens every 2 months. It's been going on forever. The people that owned their home sold it for this reason. It's been going on and going on, and I'm just new to it. So, they did come and fix, like, my landlord, Ali, and people next door to me, their landlord. They came and did like some piping in the front, but that's not all where the problem is at, is in the back also. So you can still smell like feces, and you know feces causes no problems, like the orchard.
You had a backup in the backyard.
Yes, in the back and in the front. They fixed the front, they said they fixed the front, but.
I mean, your sewer, I'm just trying to think about it, because your sewer normally goes either out front or out back. And sometimes in the older houses, they go out back and they join together.
Yeah, it's 4 houses connected to the sewage, and my house is the house where it leads from.
So you're the last house in the loop.
I'm in the middle. There's one house on this side, and then my neighbor, and then it's me coming from like the White Horse Highway.
Okay, could you give your information, your telephone number to Beth? Just to make sure we have the correct information in the system, and at our January meeting, we'll have a follow-up. All right, Steve Young?
Excuse me.
You can speak.
Public portion.
You can speak.
Well, since he opened his mouth, I'm going to stop with him. Per se, except to say, 426 units is Harry Holmes Village. And when the city officials went to check and see conditions, 98 to 125 of them were not accessible due to tenants not allowing them entry to city officials trying to help. Imagine how hard it is for staff trying to get in. The president and city reviewed the report, and what the city found and reported was quite a lot of tenant neglect and unsuitable living situations created by tenants. For example, rules say all units must be removed, all AC units must be removed from windows by a certain date. Like Labor Day, drive by today and see 96% of the units are still in windows. And go inside and you can feel the cold wind blowing in around them like the door is open. Some of those same people have illegal washing machines in their units, spewing dirty water out the windows or into the kitchen sink, clogging the drains with lint. Trust me, these people do not want no help. That was from the commissioner, Jeffrey Lewis, and put on social media, which is went worldwide. This is the problem. This is part of the problem. You have to go.
What's the problem?
You saying this about the tenant. You blame them for the tenant and still talking about the solution. No, you got the problem with the truth. You have to. Well, I'm not going to go back and forth with him like you said.
But that's what I'm talking about.
But it's just showing what we're talking about. Second of all, we've got to touch the congressmen, citizens. That's not only to help the residents. It's to find a better solution for things that you couldn't come up with or couldn't do.
I appreciate that.
So every time we come to speak, like somebody said at first, it's not to criticize. It's to find a common solution to a problem. And if we know the common problem we have, month to month, all these reports, all these meetings, you hear about the roaches, the mice, the buildings, you hear not only in Stanley, you hear about Section 8, you've heard all the problems, and it's written. And HUD have done a report. So for people to keep coming here and have to say the same thing over, and then you tell them to come back next week and next month. An example. Teresa McNair. I seen her on
and I'm not going to take your time. Okay.
Teresa McNair called me. I don't work for the housing authority. I do most of my services free. I don't have a title. I don't need no title to do what's right as a human being. But when she called, I came and I smelled. I got in touch with Tom. We did all that. She went to a hotel. First of all, they weren't going to put her in a hotel. Somebody had to come there and smell it for themselves and say, okay, she needs to be moved. Then when she got removed, oh, you'll be out for a few weeks or a few days. Then next thing you know, she get a notice saying she got to be out. And here it is again and again, the same situation. Now, like she said, if her house, her apartment is okay, and she can go back in, what you want to do. to have that Christmas dinner, to spend time with the grandchildren, then there should be some remediation of the mold, which in writing would say it don't exist. Or it would say this is the problem and it's been repaired. There's no way you're gonna keep paying. Why you keep paying for somebody to stay in a hotel if their apartment has not been repaired? So we got to deal with the facts. And it's really embarrassing to have to keep coming here month to month and these residents crying for help to this board, and we know the problem. It's written, read your reports. HUD have seen it, the world have seen it. And we can't continue to be silent about it. So, solution. One, we're going to continue to advocate to have HUD remove this board out of the way and get some type of administrator to oversee the housing authority for 60 to 90 days or something until things are changed. That's only, excuse me.
Mr. Young, no, I am. You went over your time, and I'm allowing it. But HUD is already overseeing the housing authority. We have weekly meetings with the housing authority. Well, let me go back. The reason why I asked, and I say January, because Mr. Young, you've come to these meetings, and you say, where's the transparency? I normally allow people to speak, and I don't say anything. What I do is, I'll call Tom. Tom, you make sure you and your staff are handling those issues. I don't say it on a record. I don't say when cameras are on. I don't say those type of things in public meetings. But I am on a call every day, all day. Tom sometimes does not leave the office till 9, 10, 11 o'clock. And we are on the phone. What happened today? What is going on? Did we take care of this for this resident? What is happening here? It is happening. We have, and the reason why he may not have any answers, clear answers tonight, but I say come back in January, because by January, Tom could reach out to his staff and he could get some of those answers for the reason you said, let's have transparency. As far as HUD, we have weekly and monthly meetings with HUD. HUD is already over this housing authority. We report to HUD, and it's one of the reasons why it's so important to have an executive director with years of experience with HUD, such as Tom. Tom has over 15 years of experience with HUD. They know him, they trust him, and they believe in him. And Tom is very transparent with he inherited a lot of issues. He's very transparent with sharing that information to the board. And so we have to, as a board, stop being silent, and we have to begin to put the information out there with an executive director that we trust, that gives us the information, who meets with HUD on a weekly basis. So they are overseeing us.
And now, the conclusion, there's something that we can agree on, that HUD is part of the problem. That's why we got in touch with the senator and the congressperson. We understand that, and we don't do something about that. We're doing our part. Don't get mad at us. But one thing about it is that the recovery plan and agreement that you have, you're going to vote on that tonight. Do the residents, for part of the input of that correction action plan? How can you correct something without the residents' input? That's just a question. Same thing with, and you're going to submit it to HUD, and the residents don't know nothing about the correction of, how can you,
HUD came out twice.
Again.
They came, I'm gonna answer that. They came out in March.
Without the input of the residents, talk about demolishing, talk about doing these things.
That's a whole other topic. They came out for a week, okay, with their team back in March. They have a checklist of what they do and what they check for is standard across the country. There's not something that they do here, but they don't do there. And they came out with that checklist and they checked everything. And it's their report of what they came up. It was a negotiation only on a timeline. But HUD said you have to do X, Y, and Z. And we were able to negotiate a time in getting that done. But when people are out screaming, take over, we already have to report to them
But you in
on a
court right
weekly
now, and
basis.
they're asking for documents of the plan and the
Tonight, after the
timeframe.
board votes on that,
You ain't
it's
court
a
about it.
public
It's a
document.
resident.
It's a public document after the board
But
votes on
I'm just
it.
saying, when you're moving forward, just include the resident.
And Steve, we can all work together, okay? We don't have to be combative or against each other. We can all work together. We're all from the community. We all go in and out of the stores. See, we can work together. Commissioner Hall, then Mrs. Johnson, and then Commissioner Dorsey, and we're gonna move forward.
I appreciate it, right? Hall's not even on.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
All right. No, hold up. Mr. Young, I'm glad you coming to this board meeting and speaking up for us.
Yes.
You know, I'm really proud of you. And that's when we talk, I told you, say, listen, we all gotta sit together and work together and see how we can help the residents. We are all from the same place, the same race. No need for us to be fighting and going back and forth. I really appreciate the work that you do. And when HUD came down here, I was happy they came down to see some of the stuff we've been complaining about. And one of the biggest problem was, we just ain't had enough staff. And now we're giving Tom the chance not to fill up this position. That's why I went in, Tom to even introduce our new Section 8 director. You know, so there's been so many problems, like sometimes like, you know, people from outside not seeing what's going on behind the scene, but we just have a lot of stuff on our plate. And we ask the resident, I'm a resident, you know where I live at. I got 2 young kids. So I'm trusting Tom, our new ED, with their experience as well. So we all can work together. But we gotta fill out these positions so we can be able to take care of those things that were people saying not staying in the hotels and all those things. I went in the hotel over time as well. And I understand the frustration of the resident, and that's why I talked to some of my board members. When the resident want to talk, give them a chance to vent out so we can listen and see how we can help, so we can work together. But I think 2024 is going to be a great year for us because we're having the right people coming in right now, and we're going to fill those positions, and a lot of them want to change. And HUD already said it to us as a board that we need to make improvements to these living conditions that we're going to. So I'm glad that you guys putting the fire on the HUD, wherever you got to talk to, the senator or everybody. We appreciate that. That's why I want you to work with the board, not against the board. Because at the end of the day, we're all from the same community. So I appreciate everything you're doing. Just give him a little chance so he can get his teams together, and this is going to work out. And I just want you to end
The
up.
chance is definitely, opportunity is definitely there. So when you see these emergency situations, when that HUD meeting happened,
And there's no money.
there was emergency situations that should have happened like that the next day. These people should have been out of some of those houses. Or some of the things could have been repaired. It wasn't. And it's frustrating when you come back and
Commissioner
hit.
Johnson.
My question is, when you called the meeting, you called the big people from HUD and the people from Washington, and you didn't call all of the members of the commissioner. It was sort of, we can do this with certain people, but we can't allow everybody in. The meeting that you called with HUD.
These meetings that you're speaking about, and the reason why they happen is because intimidation, threats, and terminations is real. And to subject people for that, we don't mind taking the bullets that you may shoot out to us. But to take it out on a resident, a child, a mother, that's why we speak up.
Don't make a difference.
And I hope that answers your question.
No, it didn't.
Okay.
No, because I don't understand. Let me
Another
say
thing,
this.
one other thing. We, since August and September, came to this board, rewind the tapes, and told you, and requested that we work together, this is the problem, we spoke about it, nothing happened. We told you we were going to Washington. We told you, yes we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yes we did, put it on record. So to say that we did, all due respect, that's not all. Anything else?
Commissioner Dorsey?
Let me start off by saying, no matter how misguided sometimes people's intentions are, no matter how unfortunate their results are, you have to remember that we are all volunteers here. And I can tell you that in the 2 years I've been on this board, at least in the last 12 months, we as an executive committee have spent no less than 12 hours in a week, and in 1 week, 26 hours in meetings, attempting to deal with everything that pops up with this authority. This list, this report, if you have a problem with, we're about to vote on it. I will hand you my list and stand with you while you look through everything and tell me one thing that would be a resident input item, and then we can talk about that. But this is not that type of information. But we're gonna deal with that. My only issue, when you speak, is when you speak in broad terms and you say intimidation or whatever you said with it.
True.
These are broad terms of things that happen, but we can't speak in broad terms of things that happen. We need to speak in specific items that are actually happening, not that may have happened. For example, you submitted a complaint to HUD that there was an issue. And when we as a board got that issue, it had your name and your personal address, and we had no tenant information.
Because we had no one else to turn to.
I'm just telling you what we got. So if we don't get, ma'am, please. When we get it, we can only deal with what we get. If we get something very broad, instead of Eli Gabay has an issue at 1512 Kentucky Avenue, I don't know his address, no heat. If we get a specific complaint, then we can deal with a specific complaint. Now, we as a board don't get the specific complaints, but if you come here to the board with a very specific item, then we can instruct the executive director to hold the staff accountable for the specific items. But when you come and speak broadly, while it may be an issue you encounter here, or encounter there, or encounter here, I can't fix the problem with this child if I don't know which child did it. I can't fix a problem with this employee if you don't give me the exact information. So if you come here with specific information, we as a board can guarantee you that we will instruct our staff to deal with it, as we have not only at that meeting, at the meeting with HUD, that the chair and I sat in the back, the vice chair came to the meeting, took out of work to come to the meeting. We are constantly, weekly dealing with meetings. There's a member of the resident in the back who accused me in an open meeting of doing work in her unit and
You did, I got video.
Ma'am, please don't
I'm gonna say
speak.
what I want to say, I said it.
Of
And I
doing
had
work in her
videos,
unit,
anybody wanted, I had it.
being crooked,
You
taking
are,
money from
you
the
are.
housing authority,
You are.
because she does not understand that as commissioners, we were looking at units that had problems to figure out how we could help address them, and we were in her unit to find out what the plumber had an issue with her unit. But because she knows I'm a contractor, she thought I was doing work in her unit. And she said it in public. It's misinformation that causes a problem. So Ron, realize you may not like what I said in public, but I spoke the truth. When I'm on my personal time and I'm driving by Stanley Village and I see a tube hanging out of a window and dirty water spewing into the lawn, that's somebody's washing machine coming out the window that's spewing dirty water into the grass that our children are gonna play in. I grew up in Busby. Don't tell me I had roaches, I had mice, I was scared of bugs. And guess what? I learned to overcome it, not because I wanted to, and I don't want my children to ever know that problem, but I had to overcome that. I had to deal with that. I grew up with that. I understand. It's the reason I'm on this board, it's the reason we sit here, the reason we have changed the format many times when the public said, you make us speak first so we don't have nothing to say about what you voted on. We changed it to the back. Then they said, why you change it to the back? So that we don't get a chance to speak to you first. You can't always please people. It's hard. We've tried. We've made changes. We've even made changes where we're going back and forth with you. You got 15 minutes here. Speaking of 5 different commissioners. Never happened before. So whether
That's because you're talking. And I'm gonna stop you right there.
I'm gonna let
You need to work on yourself.
Listen,
Stop with yourself. You talking about all the rest of everybody else. Stop with yourself. Your attitude and yourself, you need to work on.
Worry about what I'm working on here.
And I want that piece of paper now in public. I ain't got nothing to hide.
As soon as I can vote on it, I can hand it to you.
Yes, it becomes a public document after we vote on it shortly. I look forward to working with you in 2024. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I'm going to ask that we push the agenda.
Why things are not being done is because the money was stolen.
Ma'am, there was no money stolen.
Oh, yes, it was.
Ma'am,
Oh, yes, it was.
There was no money stolen.
Y'all stealing money right there. Money was stolen. Oh, man, I ain't even showed them my little shit, I'm out. And I went to that meeting.
All right, let's make sure that we'll get paid for this time.
All right.
Can't pay right there, next time, crazy.
Ma'am, the attorney has the floor.
If I can request, I'd like to make a motion to pull things out of order and pull the resolutions up and get all the resolutions.
That's the number.
That's now.
What do you think about
You want to move forward?
Election.
You're not, are you leaving?
Yes.
all day?
I'd like to do the resolutions.
Well, what y'all doing, y'all doing the four, or they just jumping the four?
So let's see all the resolutions.
Or they had just jumped the four? They going from 4 down or up?
Whichever way we go.
But they had just went to 4, they okay, I ain't gonna, they ain't got no water in the home, right? You live in Albany? Yeah, that's what my dad did, you ain't had no hot water, I know for sure. Man, you do it. My mother lived there, she died.
All right, we have returned to the regular agenda. Public portion has ended. Item number 4, election of officers. I shall read from the standard opening statement.
The one that was originally peeking in and out, that was Muhammad. The one I just showed was Michael.
In a moment, I shall read from.
Go on, let's see.
All right. Election of officers. In accordance with the bylaws, the annual meeting of the Housing Authority of the City of Atlantic City is to be held in December at the regular meeting place of the authority. Notice of such meeting having been given to each commissioner, this meeting therefore constituted such annual meeting. In accordance therewith, as prescribed by the bylaws, the chair, vice chair, treasurer, and assistant treasurer shall be elected from among the commissioners of this authority at this meeting, and shall hold office for 1 year or until their successors are elected and qualified. And the way we conduct this is we will accept nominations in turn for the 4 positions, and at the conclusion of however many nominations there are, there will be a vote on that position. So, we begin with the position of the chair, and we...
Make a nomination, second.
Yes, I have a nomination. I nominate Eli for chair.
Is all I said?
Yes. Commissioner Hall.
All right.
You accept that nomination? Huh? You say yes? It's fine.
All right, let me keep the record straight. So we have nomination by Commissioner Dorsey for our current chair, Stephanie Marshall. Do you accept that nomination?
Yes.
And we had a nomination by Commissioner Hall for Commissioner Gabay. And Commissioner Gabay, do you accept that nomination? He is declined. Are there any further nominations for the position of chair?
I nominate myself.
As a consultant, you've nominated yourself? Yes. Do you accept that nomination?
Yes, I nominate.
Yes.
Right, we have 2 nominations. Are there any other nominations for the position of chair?
Nominate her and second her. She has to nominate, she has no second.
Cause you know.
All right, the first vote that we'll take will be on the nomination of Stephanie Marshall to serve as the chair. We have a roll call vote on that. Commissioner Dorsey.
Yes.
Commissioner Gabay.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall. Commissioner Hall, this is on the nomination of Stephanie Marshall to serve as chair.
No.
All right. Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Will.
Yes.
And Chairwoman Marshall.
Yes. Thank you for,
Yes, there being
yes.
5 affirmative votes for Stephanie Marshall. Ms. Marshall is reappointed or re-designated as the chair.
Thank you for it. I appreciate it. It's a lot of work in 2023. We're gonna have a lot of work to do in 2024. Every day, I'm constantly working to make this housing authority better. And so, in this hall, I hope to teach you a thing or 2 in 2024.
All right. Next position we have is the position of vice chair. Do we have any nominations?
And I second it.
That is Nomination of Commissioner Goudet by Commissioner Dorsey, seconded by Chair Marshall. Do we have any other nominations for the position of Vice Chair? Seeing none, we take a roll call vote. Commissioner Dorsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Goudet? Yes. Commissioner Hall?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
What did the chairperson say? She said she wanted to tweet something?
I did not catch her, I don't know.
She didn't get you.
Commissioner Hall, so you were a yes for Commissioner Goudet? As Vice Chair? Right. Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wills?
Yes.
Chairwoman Marshall?
Yes.
Commissioner Goudet has, Commissioner Goudet is selected as the Vice Chair for the coming year by a unanimous vote of 6-0. Next up, we have the position of Treasurer. We got a nomination for
I nominate Jeff Dorsey for treasurer.
Do we have a second for that nomination? Do we have any other nominations for the position of treasurer? Seeing none, we can have a roll call vote on the nomination of Commissioner Dorsey. Commissioner Dorsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Goudet? Yes. Commissioner Hall?
No.
All right. Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wills?
Yes.
And Chairwoman Marshall?
Yes.
Commissioner Dorsey has been elected as treasurer by a vote of 5-1.
Congratulations.
And finally, we have the position of assistant treasurer. Do we have any nominations for the position of assistant treasurer for the coming year?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Johnson. I'll second.
All right, that's a nomination by Chairwoman Marshall, seconded by Commissioner Will. Are there any other nominations for the position of assistant treasurer? Seeing none, we have a roll call vote on the nomination. Commissioner Dorsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Goudet?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
No.
We're voting on last, for our assistant treasurer, Ms. Johnson is the one. Ms. Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so, Commissioner Hall, that your vote is a yes on that?
Yeah, Ms. Johnson.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wills? And Chairwoman Marshall?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson has been
Oh, my God.
selected as the assistant treasurer by a unanimous 6-0 vote. That concludes the election of officers. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. Johnson. We have a lot of work to do.
All right. Continue with the agenda, or should we go to resolution?
I'm in now, so.
We are returning to the agenda, item 5, which is approval of the minutes of November 16, 2023, closed and open session minutes. Motion, Commissioner Goudet.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wills. Thank you. Is there any discussion? This is on approval of the minutes from the November 16th meeting. All right.
No questions?
Seeing none.
Call the vote.
Thank you. Commissioner Dorsey. Yes. Commissioner Goudet.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
The minute from November.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson. Yes. Commissioner Wills. Yes. And Chairwoman Marshall.
Yes.
The minutes have been approved by a 6-0 vote. Next, item 6, reports of board committees.
The executive committee met several times. We had a meeting with HUD as well. A part of that will be a part of Tom's report. And then we have a resolution here from HUD. So.
Other committee reports?
No, that was it.
That brings us to item 7, report of the treasurer.
Treasurer report being submitted. If you have any questions, concern, please feel free to ask me.
Thank you.
Mr. Hall, can you hear us all right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that was item 7. Mr.
So,
Wahab's report.
Chair, I have a question. The lady that came in and spoke some of the check stuff. With that, I know we already cut a check for the it was 200 and.
200 and some.
Yeah, would we go back and rectify it? Yeah, we're gonna rectify it for receipts.
Yeah, there's-
Yes.
Okay, for record sake, it's like the report.
Clarity, there's no vote required on the treasurer's report.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to item 8, report of the secretary.
Thank you. So I will attempt to not be redundant as some of these things have been discussed. My executive director's report or secretary's report for the month of December is as follows. Starting off with Stanley. We continue our daily gas testing to ensure that we can identify any new leaks that occur. In the time since it resumed, one minor leak was detected on a crimped fitting and was actually immediately replaced right on the spot. No other leaks have been found. Our heating lines are continuously being repaired. Space heaters or hotel accommodations are being offered upon being notified by our residents. One of the issues, I'm going to go a little bit off of what I had in the bullet point here. One of the issues that we're being advised of by our plumbing contractor is more commonly lately, the moment that they turn the water back on after finishing a repair, they're noticing that there's another leak or break that develops right down the line. That speaks to what we all already know, is that these lines are extremely old and very deteriorated. They have been for some time now. So I have been discussing with the owner of the plumbing company any other workarounds that we can get so we don't continuously have the on-again, off-again problems in particular buildings. We have units that are being tested for mold by request and or inspection. We are working with local partners, i.e. Conifer and Michael's organization, to establish a list of voluntary, emphasis on voluntary, transfers to redevelop properties for any Stanley residents that wish to transfer. We have in our possession a boiler assessment. Our electrical assessment is currently being finalized. Once we have that information, as well as a physical needs assessment, which addresses the capital needs of the entire property, we will be able to have and hold a consultation meeting with all of our residents to actually have an educated discussion based off of numbers that we do not yet know. Right now we have estimates. We want to know that we have accurate or as accurate as possible numbers that will dictate what actually needs to be done so we can determine the path forward. All that, we're going to be transparent. We're going to share that with our residents. We're going to discuss it at length. And if need be, we're actually going to discuss that over the course of several meetings because I feel as though that the conversation is actually going to be a long one. And that's no negative connotation there. We want to get into all the details so that everyone knows exactly what's going on. In the towers, we actually identified that there was an issue with the main boiler. That repair was actually procured and completed. We identified there were leaking tubes that were causing the gas train to fail on the main boiler. There were redundant boilers that were in place, but we noticed that after the main boiler started to go down, those redundant boilers were having an issue handling the full workload because that's not what they were initially intended on doing. And again, that issue has been resolved. Altman, hot water was restored after a lengthy wait for a faulty valve. Residents have requested a concession. The Director of Property Management, Ms. Brock, and I are calculating options to present to the board for approval as of the next meeting. Housing Choice Voucher. I will actually not want to put you on the spot, Malcolm, but I would like to introduce our new Housing Choice Voucher Director. This is Malcolm. He joined us in actually the exact date of November 27th. I actually wrote down a couple of things that he's been focusing on, and obviously, Malcolm, I'll, if you want to, allow you to come up and tell everybody a little bit about yourself. You good? All right. So Malcolm comes to us with a lot of experience in housing. Has worked with Camden Housing Authority, with the Long Branch Housing Authority, and most recently the state. I am not trying to undersell, but I only had so much space on the paper. Malcolm is diving headfirst into a lot of lingering issues that everyone knows that the Section 8 department has had over time. Some of the things, he's focusing on quality control issues, and is actually currently looking into, or preparing, I should say, an independent assessment of our leasing potential, so we can determine exactly how many vouchers we can set aside towards relocation. Again, voluntarily, no one's being forced at this point, because I know that's a concern that some people do have, so that we can actually make available Section 8 vouchers for our Stanley residents for relocation. We have a new HQS, or Housing Quality Standards Inspector, Mr. Nixon, has been interviewed and is anticipated to start in the first week of January. We are currently considering hiring a second inspector due to an extreme backlog that we see in inspections. We want that department to be as efficient as it possibly can be. We're also looking into potentially hiring more caseworkers, or as we refer to them as HATs, Housing Assistance Technicians. Finance. Operating subsidy applications have been submitted for calendar year 2024. Budget development is underway for our April 1st, 2024 fiscal year. The audit has been a pain point for a while now, and it's actually the reason that we're in trouble status of our fiscal year 2022 continues, and an extension request for fiscal year 2023 has been submitted to HUD. A little bit of additional detail on that is the reason that it's being extended is, per our current auditor, they cannot start the 2023 audit until they complete the 2022 audit. I know we've been over that at length. The 2022 audit, unfortunately, during the prior administration could not be completed as the information stopped being provided to the former auditor. We're making sure that that does not happen again. So HUD visited us last week. We spent one day with them, meeting, discussing our recovery agreement, which is on the agenda for approval tonight, and their compliance review from March of 2023. We did have a lot of productive discussions. A lot of it was revolving around a lot of compliance and regulatory issues that just weren't being followed at that point in time. We do continue our weekly progress meetings with them, where we do discuss things in a little bit more granular detail. But again, we did have a productive meeting with them. And for anyone who actually made it, we did have a listening session. I shouldn't say we, HUD had a listening session because they wanted to hear from Stanley residents. It occurred last Thursday. We also conducted physical inspections, and maintenance was tasked with immediate corrections. Our maintenance director, Mr. Davis, has coordinated personnel on corrections and is compiling reports with before and after pics, so we can keep them on file. Our management department, we are working on an occupancy tracker. We're developing that with the assistance of HUD. We are focusing right now on unit turnover, in which priority is going to be given to Stanley residents on voluntary, you're going to get sick of me saying this, voluntary relocation. We are also uploading unit data from our current operating software onto a dashboard, which is a separate software, that's really going to streamline the process of tracking everything. It gives us a bird's eye view of the property, building by building, and it allows us to track essentially whatever we want, which is relocations, hotel stays, repairs that are a work in progress, heating leaks. Anything that we can put into that system will allow to have that information rather than going and trying to pull various reports and piece things together. We met with our representatives from our tenant associations to get their input on capital items for the annual plan. Moving on to personnel, we created a new org chart for board adoption, also on the agenda for tonight, to address various staffing gaps and build capacity within the organization. We are currently also addressing an unanticipated staffing shortage in the area of procurement. For the time being, our comptroller and myself have been chipping in to the extent that we can to help keep those processes moving forward. And that is my report for this month.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question?
You can?
You promised that these things are going to happen for us. You promised. Let me hear you say you promised.
I promise that we're doing everything that we can.
Okay,
to fix
okay.
everything
Well,
that
we're gonna hold you to that. We're gonna hold you to your word. Okay? The action speaks louder than words.
So,
I agree.
welcome.
Thank you.
Where's the money?
Public portion is over.
Where's the money? You know I know they had big, walked out. Vacation, we went home. Where's the money?
If anyone else wants to speak, we'll allow you to speak at the end. But I'll allow you to speak at the end. But ma'am, what I will say, you know, Tom came on board with us in May. And he's up for the challenge. He has 15 plus years experience with HUD, and often on his ride home at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, he often says, it's challenging, but I'm up for the challenge. I don't want to put words in your mouth, and we're kind of going off a little bit, but I need for you to hear that. And Tom has said it at previous meetings, and sometimes when I'm crying, he keeps me strong.
Okay, but I just wanted to hear from him.
Yeah, go ahead and say it, Tom.
Because nothing's been done at Shore Park.
Ma'am,
It was right before him, boo.
Go ahead, Tom.
He came in on the ride.
Tom, say it on your mouth.
He didn't take it.
I'm not one for sugarcoating things.
Oh, I took it after one and two, because I didn't do him, and then I came up here, come back out the door.
I neither took
Plus,
money.
he took the money.
Yeah, he didn't take it. He walked straight out.
What is this?
We are allowing something that's not even allowed. We're probably breaking our own
I'm telling the
rules.
truth,
I'm
man.
only asking the executive director
I don't know
to
about
speak to the beautiful lady in purple really quick. That's all, ma'am.
So I will say Ms. Robinson is correct. I didn't take the money. But the chair is also correct. We, every single day, it's not just me, it's not just the board, it's our entire staff, right? We are faced with a number of challenges that, if I'm being honest, should have been taken care of years ago.
Come on, agree, I agree.
But I will say this,
Now you talk.
if you're driving down the road and you're staring in the rearview mirror, you're eventually going to crash into something, right?
Yes.
So we need to stay focused on what we're doing every single day,
Yes.
putting the plans into place to make the future easier for us to address day-to-day challenges that come up. We're doing that every single day. And again, I'm not saying, well, there are nights where I leave later and I'm not going to call her and wake her up at 1 o'clock in the morning, but
I do.
things are challenging.
Yes. I know they're challenging because I've lived through it. So I think challenging for me too. So our actions speak louder than words. You go ahead and do your action and prove us wrong.
Wrong, how we ain't wrong, the dog.
Prove us wrong. Prove us wrong. You know what I'm saying? Prove us wrong.
It's real outrage.
All I need to hear is it can't be done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy, what did you say?
All I need to hear is it's not possible, it can't be done. That keeps me.
I know, can be done.
Yeah.
Need more
There is nothing that without your attention, focus, and dedication cannot be accomplished.
Yes.
It's not going to be overnight.
Yeah.
I've said that since day one,
Yeah.
but it is possible.
Yeah, the problem didn't happen overnight and it's not going to be settled overnight. We just have to be patient.
What's that?
Just to add on, as a resident commissioner, just to add on, and that's what I was telling Mr. Young, that Tom here, I got a lot of confidence in. From the past board meeting, I always tell him we want to support him. He got to be able to communicate with the resident. And I always tell him to communicate with us.
Yes.
So that way we all on the same page, we won't have miscommunication, because I think that's one of the biggest problems we've been having in the past. And Tom came here, he got a lot of stuff, a lot of mess. Sometimes I want to be a resident, but I got to keep my commissioner hat on. And it's tough.
It's tough.
I get frustrated, I'm angry, I'm mad, because my kids are going through the same thing. But that's why I asked him, Mr. Young, so we all can work together, because I know once Tom get all his people in the right position to fill up the spot that we need, to hire those people that we need, and give him the opportunity to do what he needs to do, I think, we already hit bottom. The only way we can go now is to go back up. So
Or dead.
I'm just begging my fellow residents, let's give them a chance, to put the right people in the right position, and let's see what 2024 is gonna bring for us.
Okay, so when he gets everything done and everything's done, he ain't gonna get fired, right?
No. I'm not doing that.
Even if he uncovers wrongdoing from anybody, we're gonna fight for you.
Yeah.
We're gonna fight for you if you do this stuff that we need done.
15+ years experience, he's known in North, he's known with the regional, he's known in Washington.
But we keep
They
him.
have a lot of respect.
And do
For
y'all
him.
got
Do
money?
we have respect for him?
And all of this.
I wish I keep it
We'll
respect
talk
for him.
more at the end. We have to move the agenda along.
All right, then.
Okay,
I'm gonna fight for you to get fired because you discover stuff, okay? Don't cover stuff because people like that get fired.
Yeah.
If you do keep it on the long, don't tell nobody.
Number 9, other business.
Straight out the door.
It's a little order. I'm gonna allow people to speak at the end, again.
You're on item 9, other business and communication. We now return to resolution scheduled for consideration and adoption.
Resolutions coming
Next, we have resolutions 9727 through 9730.
Okay. Yes, and we can speak on each one individually. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You want to move forward?
Yeah, I want to pull for discussion, the resolution, from HUD and the org chart. So that's 9731 and 9732.
All right, so we have previously, the board has, previously tonight, the board approved 9727. We have been 9728 through 9733, and it has been suggested that, and there's a motion and a second, and a vote in favor of this, that resolutions 9728, 29, 30, and 33 should be merged and voted on as one. And the other two resolutions, 31 and 32, would be individually voted and voted on. So, if that is desired, to have a motion to consolidate 28, 29, 30, and 33. Dorsey, second by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion on the motion to merge those four? It's going to be a vote first to merge, then a vote to approve with this group. All right.
Call the vote.
All right, roll call vote on the merger. This vote is just to put together the four resolutions, 28, 29, 30, and 33.
Pull 31 and 32.
31, 32 will be voted on individually as group. Okay, roll call vote on the merger. Commissioner Dorsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Duvet?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall? Thank you. Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Willis?
Yes.
And Chairwoman Marshall?
Yes.
All right. The merger motion has passed unanimously. Next, we'll entertain a motion for approval of the merged board. Second. Thank you. Any discussion on the now merged resolution 28, 29, 30, and 33?
And 29, are we requesting out to what position, where is he going? Under their class?
That's a yearly resolution that has to be done.
Any further discussion? Before, if you have your agenda, Commissioner Hall, okay, these were resolutions 28, 29, 30, and 33. And the motion which passed was to consolidate the four of them for one single vote, and one yes or no vote.
And we put out two resolutions, 9732 and 9731.
Yeah.
We're gonna discuss those.
All right. So, we are ready for a roll call vote on approval of the four merged resolutions. Commissioner Dorsey? Yes. Commissioner Day?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall? Commissioner Johnson? Yes. Commissioner Williams? And Chairwoman Marshall?
Yes.
All right, consolidated resolutions have passed by a vote of 6 in favor and none opposed. Next, we have Resolution 9731. This is a resolution authorizing the execution of a recovery agreement between the ACHA and the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, as well as acceptance of the corrective action plan. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, give that to the chair. Second?
Second.
Thank you. It's open for discussion.
The action plan is just starting, action plan, the next plan that, when they come authority to, redo the, trouble, fix all the trouble problems.
Yes.
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 Okay, so another problem is the chip.
What happened?
We are adopting, if this resolution passed tonight, tomorrow HUD is expecting a copy, a certified copy of the resolution that the board agrees to the recovery plan. HUD has given the Housing Authority 6 months to a year to address the issues. When they came in last week, that was the discussion, to go over the recovery plan. And this report is from when they came down in March and did an assessment of their checklist. So once this is adopted, we will begin. Some of it has already been done, but we will begin to do the work, Tom and the team, on the issues that are outlined in the recovery plan. And I'm gonna allow Tom to speak more, and also our attorney is on the line, and Rick, if there's anything else we want to add to address the crowd.
I want to add too also, when they start complying to the action plan, when we get a report as commissioners, updates on what they have completed, what they haven't completed, or do we have to wait all the way till a meeting at the end of the month to find out what was completed and what wasn't?
Okay, so I did ask HUD that specific question when they were here. How the board is updated on this information is something that we can get monthly. It's not a resolution or anything that we would need to pass, but the board will receive a monthly update. Tom will be updating HUD weekly though, even though we would receive a monthly report, and in that report, HUD wants, it's a moving document, so right now the document is probably, how many pages? I think it's about 8 or 9 pages. By the time we are done, this document, 8 or 9 pages.
I haven't counted them.
Yeah, let's just say about 20, yeah, I know, as much as I've been reviewing it. By the time this document is completed, it's probably going to be about 800 pages. And HUD outlined that on each point, they want an explanation on what we are doing. They want initials next to it, and they also want the date, their different tabs. So for an example, and part of it, there is training for commissioners, where we have to continue with training. We have to put that information in this document and date when each commissioner does a training, and how and what the training is, whether it's taking classes, going away, a board retreat, and on Lead the Way. And so everything has to be documented, and Tom will update them at the weekly meeting every Monday. Yeah, HUD, yes, Tom has weekly meetings. Tom and his team have weekly meetings with HUD.
Okay, now, if anything falls to the crack, and we don't get things at the deck, deadline like we're supposed to, who is held accountable?
We'll all be held accountable if anything doesn't get done by the deadline.
Okay, so if I'm going to be a part of that being held accountable, I want to make sure I get updates. Well, I'll be asked to, and our meetings. I'm just always meeting, the meeting, or whatever, because I want to keep updates too. My name is on the line. One thing, my name is clean. I don't have a dirty name. And I don't want it to get dirty by being on board. Because I'm an honest person. I have integrity. I always have integrity and honesty. And I want to keep my name clean, so I would like to have updates too. Trump what's going on. Because I thought that in my package, that's why I brought it up. Because I been seeing in the package what was asking for this action plan. And when they want it done, and I only want it done, and I don't want them to wait, because I'm not a late person and taking nothing back to somebody. So I'm hoping that they're going to be giving these documents by the deadline, and then things get done, decency and in order. Because that's what I'm about, decency and in order.
Thank you.
And that's what I can teach you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, we have legal. Okay, hi, we have legal on the line.
Hi, yes, so this is Alberto Camacho from Joe Manfredi's office. We serve as special counsel to the Housing Authority. I just wanted to address the commissioner's concern and obviously to the full board. We took a look, we were involved in this process intimately as far as speaking with HUD and meeting with HUD on this. And the issue here as far as the updates to the board, I just want to be clear. There is a written report that's going to be provided to HUD on a monthly basis that will update them exactly what's been done over the past month and where we are on all of the deadlines. And as Madam Chair indicated, the board will be, and the Housing Authority as a whole, is accountable for meeting those deadlines. And what we did with HUD was negotiate those deadlines to a point where it was something that everyone was comfortable meeting those deadlines and ensuring that in our hope that we can meet those even prior to those deadlines. So the idea will be, Commissioner, that the board will be updated monthly at your meetings or even prior to that as in committee meetings as far as where the progress is. You will then be aware of where we are, and then a written report will be submitted following that time to HUD on a monthly basis so that they are aware. And as the chair pointed out, those reports will specifically indicate on a monthly basis exactly what was done and the dates they were done so that it's very clear. And then that report is going to be, and why the chair said it could be hundreds of pages long and even larger than that, is that each document that is for that report and shows exactly the documentation HUD's requesting, each of those documents then becomes a part of the report and is actually attached to the report. So by the end, you're going to have a growing document. You're going to have a very large document that includes all the documents that HUD requested.
Thank you. Tom?
Thanks, Alberto.
No problem.
So, I mean, Alberto pretty well covered it. I will say this, as the chair pointed out, we do have standing weekly meetings with various HUD personnel. Those are not intended to be submitting reports to them. It's more so talking through the process so that they're well aware there are no surprises. If we're running into any challenges with getting anything done, that's our opportunity to tell them exactly what's going on, and if there is any ability to make adjustments to deadlines based off of approvable reasons, not just anything, then they stay advised of that. And as Alberto also mentioned, we do have to compile and update this document so that it is a living document. It's constantly updated, and everyone's going to receive a copy of that.
And I just want to say, Chair, I think with this document too, I think one of the things that can help us too, as commissioner, I think we did have an idea where we're going to have each executive committee. So, like with the reform, I would love for us to see if we can have like an executive committee with each board member where somebody's on the committee with, the improvement of physical condition or something that you had a template before. I would love for us to have that moving forward, so those groups can meet too and have conversation with the ED, and then when we do come to the board meeting, then they can give a report, so I would love to see that so we can split it, where each commissioner can be on 2 different meetings, and then somebody can come and give a report to the full board, because we all can't be on the same meeting at the same time, they gotta be in the fucking facility. But we can set that moving forward with this report, so that way, we're not just gonna be asking too many questions, but each committee will come back with their report, they can communicate with us. You can set it up however you want to set it, maybe once a week or twice a week, and just discuss, and then we get a full report, and we ask it.
Okay, I think that's a great idea. So, commissioners, if there's any, we'll set up committees and meet with Tom, and if there's any portion of the agreement in which you would like to be a part of the discussion, we'll set that up. Okay? All right? Sounds good. Okay. All right.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second, discussion has concluded, so we're ready for a roll call vote.
What happened?
She appreciates it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
All right. Roll call vote, Commissioner Dorsey.
Yes.
Commissioner Gadet.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Wills.
Yes.
Chairwoman Marshall.
Yes.
That has passed, 6 in favor, none opposed.
Do I have my copy now? And if you can put it on the website,
Yes.
so everybody can have it.
Yes.
And I was like, Tom, report you, that's what it's
Remember what I said?
And the document is signed. HUD will receive this tomorrow, along with a copy of a certified resolution. We have one more agenda item, and then I'll open the floor up for any final words. Okay.
Yeah, resolution 9732, which is a resolution approving and authorizing the implementation of the updated organizational chart. And a motion and second.
Motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Day, second, Commissioner Wills, thank you, open for discussion. This is, Commissioner Hall, this is number 972. This is the organizational chart.
And that's just something real quick. I love that it's not working. You ain't got a license staircase.
Yeah, they got stuck. It's not working. She got stuck.
It's no light. In the staircase.
The stairwell is dark. He opened it up.
Yeah, maybe you should have flashlight before down the steps.
Board discussion, okay, they're checking it out. All right, we're back.
And the elevator got stuck.
We have a motion and second, we're open for
Oh,
discussion.
yeah, they spoke.
Okay, any discussion on the org chart?
One thing I
It's being revised. Often organizations will redo the org chart. We are redoing the org chart, so it's being revised.
So in according to the chart, like executive, is Tom Titan changing to CEO?
He's the executive director and the CEO.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what, they just made executive director or executive officer.
But the org chart has not been updated in a couple years, so we're updating it tonight.
Title going from executive director or just CEO, and your next one with another page on the price.
No.
Page,
No, it's the same thing, just executive director.
Not take the money.
The only thing I needed, like, I would just like for us to have I know we have the arbitration, but if you can try to give it like a breakdown on like the salary for this position, I would want to know.
Yeah, so this is the org chart,
Yeah,
and this is the start of the structure
Yeah.
on what we're saying the organization of this size should be with the staff. And then there's also a roster, which HR keeps track of a roster vacant positions. As we all know, we have about, 50 vacant positions that we're filling, and that will be part of a roster.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, once we fill it up, or whatever position we do fill it up.
That's different from an org chart.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Oh, okay.
I said, once we fill up the position, or whatever position is already filled in, I just want to see it still for each position.
Okay.
We gotta do a vote.
Excuse me, we're still in the meeting.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, Commissioner Hall? There was some background noise.
Commissioner Eli, that I also want to see the salary rate, and I also want to make sure those positions are filled diversity. I want to make sure we have diversity in those positions.
Thank you, Commissioner Hall. But
I want to make sure that we get good quality people.
right, understood. Yes, that's understood. Tom is looking for good quality people. I think the first hire was the director of Section 8, and he did not want to speak, but he has over 25 years' experience in Section 8. So yes, that is important for us to hire good quality people to help move this organization along. Yes.
And I also like to agree with y'all back, but I also want to make sure that not only good quality people, but not only people that certain people want to pick, and they don't know they feel that need to be in those positions. Because the way y'all got entitled, y'all seem like y'all got entitled, like, those titles should be like, the pay rates want to go up, the paychecks want to be high. Because now I see from director, I see CEO. You know, I just say director, that's the only thing I don't understand.
All right.
Just the executive director, they just pull that and bring like the architect for it, that's all. I don't think, they don't need the CEO, it's just the executive director of the housing authority.
Okay, any other questions or comments or concerns? Okay, and again, this is the organization chart. It's not a roster with total detail. It's just the structure of how the agency should look.
Thursday's finally happy, you guys are.
Yes. All right, Tom is going to speak as well.
So Commissioner Hall, I just wanted to speak to some of the concerns that you just raised. Any position that we hire for, we're first going to do a comparability analysis. We're going to check around the state and if, maybe even beyond the state to see what people in those positions are being paid so that we can ensure that the salary is comparable for the position. Beyond that, one of the big things is we have to make sure we do our due diligence on the financial side to make sure that the staffing that we have is sustainable, that we're not running the housing authority on the administrative side into a deficit. So all those things are going to be given very careful consideration before final decision made on those things.
All right, any other questions, comments, concerns? And I also want to say legal attorneys looked at this as well. HR, Mayor Freedy's office. Labor Council is getting late. Labor Council also reviewed the organization chart as well.
Question, are we hiring any of the residents for some of these positions?
I guess if they're qualified.
We don't get involved in hiring.
Yeah, we hire one person and that's the executive director.
Residents are.
Executive director that's going to hire these other people, or they're hiring some of the residents that may be qualified too.
There's no preference, but if people fill out an application, anybody is welcome to fill out an application, I should say.
Essentially, saying the same thing. Residents are encouraged to apply. Hiring decisions are 100% based off of the qualifications of the individuals that are applying for the position. So it takes any nepotism, favoritism, pick your ism, out of the process.
That's what I'm worried about. I just want to make sure they don't get some skins.
To make you happy too, we just let Tom know to post those positions in each of the very building or departments so they can post the job posting up there for everybody to see it. So Tom, put it on the website or post it in the manager office and stuff so everybody can be able to see it, the resident can be able to have an idea and see it. Alright?
All right, we're calling the vote. Okay,
We are ready for the roll call vote on resolution 97.
Commissioner Hall, somebody's talking in your background, can you put yourself on mute?
All right, roll call vote. Commissioner Dorsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Gavett?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall? Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wills?
Yes.
Chairwoman Marshall?
yes.
That resolution has passed 6 in favor and none opposed.
All right. We are now at good and welfare, and I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, New Year's, and other holidays. I'm going to allow the gentleman to speak. You want to what? Yes.
Okay, yeah, sure, you can leave.
Before we do that.
Okay, wait. 1 second, Tom, say.
Just, it does fall into good and welfare. So our team, which has actually been coordinated through our resident service coordinator, we have 2 events coming up for the holidays. And if anyone hasn't seen the flyers yet, we have...
1 second.
You don't have any to go.
She won't hear what you say.
This is just good and welfare. So we have tomorrow evening, and our resident service coordinator has the flyer. Thank you. So we are doing a dinner, an appreciation dinner, a holiday dinner for our Stanley residents. It's going to be at Stanley in the community room. It's going to go from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. There will be prepared food, so if anyone wants to come out for that, you're more than welcome to. And then Saturday morning from 9 to 12. Did I get that right? 9 to 12?
Yes.
9 to 12, sorry. We're also doing a toy giveaway for residents of all of our family sites, not just Stanley. We've partnered with Toys for Tots, and so we're going to be doing that on Saturday morning as well. Just wanted to put it out there in case anyone wasn't already aware.
Okay, so they have the 23rd on the 23rd, and when do they have to dinner?
That's Stanley Hill.
So the
Same day?
no, not the same day. So we're doing the dinner first, and then the toy giveaway is going to be the following morning. Both are going to be held at the Stanley Community Room. You're welcome.
Commissioner Gavett?
Yes. Before we leave, I just want to make sure, Tom and add about the hotel situation that we hear about tonight. Can we just make sure we take care of that situation before the lady leave? Okay. If somebody can speak to her, yeah, I don't know whatever bill or whatever stuff we have, so we can be able to take care of it, so she can have somebody to say for.
I've got a number on my cell phone. I'll let her know.
All right. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. All right, yes. Your name, please?
Buster Cochran, we are here representing Shore Park. I've been voted as the president of the Tenant Association. This is my vice president, Brenda. This is my secretary over here, Missy, and my treasurer, Stephanie. When we get up and running,
Your name again, I'm sorry.
Buster Cochran from Shore Park. And my attorney over here also, she's the best. But anyway, what I'm asking is, in the future, when we get up and running, if I need one of your council members like Tom or yourself to come and speak to our residents, can I come to you and ask you when we get up and running and have our meeting? That way, if you come, maybe our tenants can, I don't have all the answers. Your guys can help me by helping our tenants with the questions that they throw at you. So if I come to you, if you have time, please come. And after the holiday, I would like to meet with you anyway. So we'll wait till the holidays over. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, everybody.
I would have to receive the invitation for me to come, I can't just come.
And how do I go about?
An invitation, you could reach out to Beth Ann or
Great.
Tom.
Do I need an invitation?
Yeah, we have to have an invitation.
And you can send me an invitation to the commissioner.
Can I have your business card?
Yes. Through Beth, y'all can get it to me, I don't have a call.
Okay.
Through Beth, you can get it.
Appreciate that.
And.
Mr. Tom.
Just
We
one
want to
more.
allow residents or someone else that wants to speak that haven't spoken.
No, I just want to ask, can I get the papers stating that the health department and all them went in my house, can I get the papers stating that there's no mold in there?
That would come from the health department, not the housing authority. I'll reach out to Director Barnes tomorrow. Okay?
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
I have a question.
Your name, ma'am?
Diane Buckman.
Okay.
So they're not tearing down Standing Home Village?
Yes, they are.
I'm asking y'all, are they going to tear down Standing Home Village?
It's
Okay.
one of the options being considered, yes.
Okay, so, do you know how long that will be for y'all to make a decision? Because we've been hearing they've been tearing down Stanley for years, and, you know.
We've asked her for permission to explore the options. Stanley Village at some point is gonna come down, yes.
Okay.
But there's a whole lot of development and planning
Yes.
and all that.
And just so you know, that land will stay with the housing authority. There's no gentrification, there's no moving folks out. That land will stay with the housing authority. Current public housing looks like the meadows. You know where the meadows are up here? That's what current public housing look like, okay? And that's what we want to do, opposed to having custom appliances, the front doors, the windows, everything is custom designed because it was built in the 1930s. So, but if you ride by the meadows, that's what public housing looks like now across the country.
Don't look at it as tearing down Stanley, look at it as replacing Stanley with
No,
new buildings.
see, I've been homeless before. I've been homeless before for years.
Well, residents have the right to come back.
One of them was Stanley Home. I got forced out when I was 23 years old. And they separated me, my kids never grew up with me because I was homeless. So you see how I feel? I know what homelessness is. And Stanley was the only place that I could afford to live all these years. And it took me 15 years after running from domestic violence, leaving my apartment and getting another apartment, and then apartment building burned down, and then the city of Atlantic, at that time, y'all wasn't here, but the city of Atlantic City got together and told us that we had to find our own places. Well, I couldn't find no places, so I lived on pillar to post for 15 years being separated from my kids. So you see, and I'm an empath, so I feel everybody's pain. So that's what I'm asking you. So, and as far as our senior citizens go, I want, when you get ready to tear down, I want somebody to go in and interview them and find out whether they got any family. Because a lot of people over there, a lot of seniors over there don't have a family. A lot of seniors in this high rise don't have no one. But families eventually go. I like to set up opposed to having to move out for 72 hours of when y'all send out that notice or whatever. You know? So I just want everybody to be treated fairly and respected.
So let me say this, Stanley is lacking a resident, president, and an association. So I suggest that you help get an association together, because that's how we would communicate through the ED with the residents. We need an association and a group that can speak for the residents. So we'd love it if you would help put together an organization so that we could have these conversations and, have understandings.
Yeah, but
It needs to happen.
Yeah, I had a stroke, so, and I had hormone deficit and difficulty, so I can't get involved like I would like to. Like before I had the stroke, I had a brain bleed. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be at all. I'm not even supposed to be standing here, but God. So all I'm saying to y'all is, for the senior citizens, for
but when you get ready to move out, Stanley, notify or get somebody to go in and talk to them personally and find out whether they got some family. Because a lot of seniors live over there that ain't got no family. And on top of that, I mean, this one man, he's blind. I don't know whether he moved out, but he's blind. I had to go to his house. He caught me on the street. I had to go to his house and cook him some, put a hamburger in the microwave. And then other people, residents went over there to help him, and he was eating all their food. Because it was blind.
I mean, they're not just gonna be told to leave, man, we're helping them find
No.
new places to live before they're.
I know, but find out whether they got any family or not. Maybe they want to go to their family.
That's gonna be their option.
Yeah.
That's gonna be their option.
All right, well, I'm just asking.
I think what she's saying is, I think that's why our residential services
Maybe
come
that's
in.
social services.
Yeah, they need to come in, that's why I keep saying to Tom, for the 2024, we need to beef up that department with Ms. Julie to help her with the right people, because that way, I had the same situation of one of my residents next to me, she died in her apartment, and it took 3 weeks before somebody even noticed about it. And that's sad, and what she's saying is 100% right. A lot of our senior citizens over there do not have family members, or they have a lot of issues. So I think we need to definitely try to see how we can help Ms. Julie to beef up that department, because when she had, what's the lady name, Thelma was in a standing home, and she used to visit those residents, and even when they had problems, like when they were about to do inspection, to check, she would go in there, get some people to help her to pack some of the stuff, to make some room. Some of these older people, they're hoarders, they hold things, they keep it, so I think that department, we definitely need to try to beef it up to help, because we do have a lot of older residents that do not like to be on the exit.
I know you missed the call the other day, we talked about, trying to reinitiate some of the older services such as, like house cleaning and helping people, not just work with habits, but one of the things that I brought up is that I don't know, what meeting was I in, they were annoyed because I said my mom.
Don't say it.
My mom is older, it's harder for her to do things, so it's harder for her to clean, so I hired a company that comes and cleans the house for her. And we were talking about seeing how we can get some social services that'll help and visit our seniors, and not only spend time with them, but clean their houses with them, or clean their houses for them. Some of these social services we're trying to get back, because through my involvement with another organization, I found out that, one of the things like, they had the gardening project, they had a lot of things, and people took care of the places because they cared about their houses different. And one of the things I asked, said, well, why don't we do it anymore? And they said, the people changed. When the neighborhood changed and there became drug dealers, the people went inside, they didn't care about outside anymore. And I said, well, we gotta get them back outside. So one of my goals, and you remember when I complained a lot about the landscaping thing, and we reviewed it, and we said landscapers aren't doing good, and we got on them to do things better, because to me, getting people back outside is what makes the community safe. Getting the children out and playing, and not cars parked in our children's playground at Stanley Homes. You guys know how many times I've complained about cars parked on the sidewalk, cars parked in the playground. We need to not only police ourselves, but have these cars too, because people are parking in places where our children should be playing, and children don't play there. That brings people back outside. So if we police and enforce some of the rules and don't have people's washing machines spewing dirty water out into the yard, the children will go out and play, and that will make the community more beautiful, safer, and bring people back outside. We have to change things that change people, to get people back outside, and that will increase seniors sitting outside and getting some air to breathe and walking around and watching the kids and policing the neighbors and policing the neighborhood. We have to encourage those things to get those people back outside. And it's not gonna happen if we don't give them a pretty lawn to walk out and sit next to. If we don't give them some nice shrubbery and some flowers that they can come out and enjoy. If we don't do these things for our developments, we're not gonna change the way these people live.
And you're 100% right, and that's what we gotta work with Ms. Judy. Like I said, let's beef up that department, because I know how essential those things are, because a lot of the senior citizens at Stanley, the reason why they don't want to move to Ardman Tower or Show Park or Jeffrey, some of them are furniture right there to go. They're not comfortable. So I think if we try to help Ms. Julie, what we can do, and I agree with everything you said, because I always tell you guys, me coming to America, I say America is my heaven on earth. And when I come and see where I'm living, when my wife came, she was shocked. this is not America, like, all the beautiful things I see in the, so, but that, you're right, for us to get the kids out there playing and stuff, and, you know, as a board, that's why I'm so happy, I want us to work together in 2024 instead of bickering and arguing, because that's what all the people want us to do. But let's come together, we're all one family. At the end of the day, we're here to serve, and that's what God wants us to do. So let's just, you know, get on something.
Judy, I just want to say something, and I don't know, but have you, the seniors in our developments, have you acquainted them with the services that the county has? I mean, are they listed with that county program where they get a call every day and stuff like that, so people are checking on them and all that kind of stuff, especially the ones that are alone? Because we need to involve, the county has a lot of programs that these seniors can get involved in. Not only that, the city has these senior programs also where they can go on trips and do a whole lot of stuff and get them out of their houses and get them acquainted with other people. So we need to get them involved in all of the stuff that there's senior programs that are available out there, okay?
Yes, we do. They were just visiting all the buildings.
Commissioner, hold on.
1 minute, 1 minute.
They were just there last month visiting all the buildings, where they they come down, they sign up, and they call them every day to make sure that they're okay. We've had telecare, we've had a lot of organizations in
Okay,
there.
but evidently,
So-
I'm hearing that some of the seniors are alone and like he was talking about.
That's always.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you need to make sure, knock on every door and make sure they have that, and ask them if they want the services. They may turn you down, but you should really ask them if they want the services.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying, she need help, she need people in the department, but right now I think Julie's the only one in the department.
Well, I'll be willing to help her on that.
Okay.
I'll be willing to help her on
Yeah,
that.
we need to, like Dorsey was
We
saying.
just,
Okay.
kudos to the department. We just did a grant for 2 service coordinators for what's it called, elderly and disabled.
Amen.
Prayerfully, we will get the grant, and it's for all of our 5 buildings to have a coordinator to connect to services.
There was a gentleman who, I think he left, and he talked about his group getting together with,
Attorney Association.
yeah. And they had selected their president and other people. And once you get those people together, then you can spread out within Stanley Home or wherever you go, whichever building you're in, and get volunteers to make. I remember my husband grew up in Stanley Home. I grew up on a farm, which is completely different from Stanley Home. But he grew up and he talked about how they played and how they jumped off the top of the buildings with umbrellas flying like someone on TV. But if you know what, if you get people together and then get the volunteers to do certain things, to do, maybe one group can plan a Christmas party, another group can plan something for Easter, and then the city has the senior group that I see them on Facebook all the time.
They go every place.
They go everywhere. They're all over the place. And so one group can do the senior place, the senior people.
To give you an update, City of Atlantic City is in our buildings already doing the senior activities. They're there Monday through Thursday. They just took them to a gala at the Claridge, I believe, for the holiday. So they're in our buildings doing activities. It's in my board report that they're there. I just had the training for the 5 buildings, tenant organizations, reorganizing. Mr. Cochran and Shore Park, all of them just went through training on how to run an organization.
Right.
So now, the next step is to make sure that their offices are intact so that they can use their office to service the residents.
And volunteers for.
They have to have committees. They were told all the ins and outs of what it takes to do the organization. But only, as Commissioner Dorsey said, Stanley Homes and Scattered Sites has not embraced it as of yet. And I do believe that Scattered Sites, because they're out in the community, it's hard to bring them into a cluster because they want that independence and not, as they said before, a long time ago,
be a part of the public housing stigma. Sterling Homes, it's getting the residents, they have so much controversy going on. Trying to get them to come out to the meetings, I've tried 3 times to come together. And in fact, the lawyer that's sitting here now, I had asked her to come to be an oversee the election process of it. But because of what's going on, it would have been a conflict. So going into the new year, the plan is to try to start again with Stanley's. So Ms. Ruffin, if she wants to participate, you're more than welcome.
I would say Ms. Mobley behind you as well.
Okay.
A lot of residents reach out to her. Ms. Mobley has been coming to council meetings to address concerns. The residents will contact her. Often she'll give me information as well, and I hand it over to Tom. But she's a great resource for Stanley Home Village as well.
Ms. Molly, let's put something in action because we gotta help our people.
Talk to me.
Yeah, so,
So
tomorrow, when we have the dinner.
I work 9 to 5, bro.
Oh.
Talk to me after 5 o'clock.
No problem, me too. So maybe tomorrow I'll hope for you to come to the dinner and maybe we can make that announcement so everybody's out there. I think that's the good place to give this information out there, to let the resident know. I think when we're doing something positive in the community, that's the best time. It's good for you to give information and people be willing to listen. But it's not when we bicker and argue. Nobody want to listen at that point. But it's always nice when you're talking to somebody when you're in a good mood and you're laughing and having a good time. So we should, if you can definitely try to get some flyers, Ms. Julie, for tomorrow night. I don't know.
The dinner, the flyers went out to every household.
No, I'm not talking about for the dinner. I'm talking about for us to have the tenant association meeting.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
So bring some flyers, let's pass it out. We can put it on the table, and I'll be right standing next to you. I would love for you to follow us and work together so we can help the people at Stanley. There's so many negative things going on. Let's try to work together and try to get something good out of it a little bit.
Yeah, but I know before, when Stanley Home called meetings, it was only the senior citizens there. And they are getting older and they are sickly, and they can't get out, that much. So don't blame that they don't want to come out. They do want to come out. They do want to come out because we're more concerned about each other, us seniors, than
The younger people.
the younger people. So we always came out. I went to the hospital and had a stroke and was in there 7 months. And I came back and still helped. And still helped. I'm sick now, but still helped. I still want to give. I want to give myself because God's been good to me. So,
We're going to start 2024 in a positive note, guys.
Yeah.
I got a strong belief God's going to lead her in the right direction. And we have a lot been going on, but God's going to make a way. Don't give up on the board. We're going to work together. If you have ideas, let's bring it together so we can work together.
And I want to thank everyone for coming out and speaking tonight.
I
And
do got one,
seeing you.
before you close, I got one statement, and I'm serious this time.
I've
I've been in this system for 15 years, I've never missed my rent. I get this phony paper talking about owe me $450, I got 14 days. Now I'm gonna ask you this, and y'all can go on and say what you're gonna say. When you come down that you can't speak and you got a whole 160 units, not able when the building is falling. We've never had a meeting by our manager to discuss the conditions of the building. We've had electricity gone, raw sewage gone, and then we get a paper from the administrators that don't even have the truth on it. And then you're going to cease and desist me and I wanted to ask one question. Where is the proof?
Ms. Robinson, we're going to work on it. We're going to get answers for you tomorrow, next week, and then at January's meeting, the entire board will be apprised of.
I've never seen anything like this. Operation is, if you say something that is not right, then you become a threat.
I'll see you next month, all right? You'll get 3 minutes again next month. All right.
Unless Ms. Mobley says a question, I make a motion
Motion to